Hello and welcome one and all to the finals of Grand Slam Galaxy. I am your commissioner, Willie or Won't He, joined by my co-commentator, Silver Lily. How are you doing on this fine Memorial Day, Silver Lily?
I am doing just all right, Willie. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. After 14 long play days, quarterfinals, semifinals, drama, wins, losses, we have reached the finals of season 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy. And I could not be more excited. How do you feel about today's matchup, Silver Lily?
Honestly, Willie, I think this one can go either way. Both teams have had their ups and downs throughout the season, and while the rookies were looking dominant going into the playoffs, the Flowers, despite falling to them in a 3-game series, gave them quite the stumbling block. While the third game ended 11-5, it was a lot closer than the scoreline would make it seem.
Well, we'll have to see just how mortal both these teams feel. Let's go over real quick how we got here. Let's start with the standings for the regular season. Now, pulling these up, it's no surprise that this is the finals that we got. Both the Monsters and the Rookies ended the regular season with an 11-3 scoreline. They split the series record that they had with each other, and the only thing that gave the Monsters the top seed was an additional +4 on their run differential. Though, well, we all know that the reason that the Monsters and the Rookies split their series was due to the most insane play in Grand Slam Galaxy history. Shout out Boo. Or should I say shout out John Cena. Thanks for taking that dive for me, buddy. Look, he's on his evil arc. I can throw the man credit where it's due. Now, we've had a hell of a road to get here, even with the Monsters and the Rookies locking up playoff contention relatively early for them. The 4 teams below them in those 5th through 6th seeds put up a hell of a battle in the playoffs and made it very interesting for us. And as always, we salute the Fire Eggs and the Bows who got eliminated before the postseason, but put on a hell of a show to get us there. Now, we'll jump straight into the playoffs because I want to talk about these teams in the context of their playoff brackets. Wow, that's way bigger than it should be. But you don't need to see my face for this. So, talking about the playoffs here, we immediately started with some hella big upsets in the quarterfinals, didn't we, Silver Lily?
That we did, Willie. The Spitballs and the Flowers both took their series against the higher seeded teams of the Monarchs and the Musicians.
I honestly could not have painted these quarterfinals more beautifully. The Spitballs and the Flowers, of course. The Spitballs showing some great slap proficiency that managed to blast through the Monarchs' tight infield in a very surprisingly strong upset. And the Flowers and Musicians coming down to the last game before the Musicians just ran out of gas and got eliminated in the quarterfinals. Thus, both our 3rd and 4th seeds were eliminated in the quarters. Coming to semifinals, we had a little bit of a different but similar story, didn't we, Civil Lily?
That we did. This time, both of the higher seeds took their victory, with both teams that got the bye, the Monsters and the Rookies, taking the win. Much higher score lines on the Rookies' Flowers side of things, except for that first game, which the Flowers took 4-3, followed by a 5-10 game and a 5-11 game. Meanwhile, on the Monsters Spitball side, the highest scoring game was actually in Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, which ended 2-8 in favor of the Monsters, and then a Luigi's Mansion game that ended 1-4 in favor of the Monsters, neither team ever breaking double digits.
Now, here's the question that I have to ask before we start. Here's the question I have to ask before we start and we get into these playoffs, into these finals. The Monsters have only played in one playoff series. The Flowers have only played in one playoff series. Which do you think played consistent with their regular season? Do you think that there were any jitters? Do you think that there were any eyebrows raised? Or do you think that they performed just as strongly as they did in the regular season?
For these two teams?
For these two teams.
Well, I already talked a little before about how the rookies ended up getting tripped up by the Flowers a bit. Despite having a very dominant regular season with some early struggles, after the rookies restructured, they ran over the rest of the league, aside from that one very impactful John Cena bobble. On the other side of things, the Monsters had about the performance we've seen from them for most of the season. Good, strong offense and solid defense that's able to get leads and hold on to them, but maybe not as dynamic of leads, maybe not as big blow-ups as you'd see from other teams.
Well, we'll have to see which one is favored heading into our finals. Let's talk about the 5 stadiums that we're going to see here. The format for our best of 5 finals, where each team picked a stadium, each team banned a stadium, each team picked a stadium, and then the last stadium will be our tiebreaker. So, the Monsters' first pick was Peach's Ice Garden, a stadium that they are very familiar with, but which the Rookies, on their first attempt, took it 5-11 versus the Flowers. Which way do you think that ball lies in Game 1 of our finals?
I think it really depends on the exact same thing that swung the series in the Rookies' favor, which is the ability to hit those Peach Ice Garden triples. There are specific spots on the field where if you hit balls to those locations, it's a lot harder for the defense to recover them out there on the slippery ice with such big field dimensions. The Monsters have a good fielding presence. It's not as stellar as what we've seen from the Flowers at their peak, but it is incredibly solid.
Well, we'll have to see whether or not the Monsters are able to play and take their first home field game. For the Rookies' first home field game, unsurprisingly, they took us to Wario City Night, and I almost feel like any question here is unnecessary. You want to give a one-sentence summary of what it's like to play on Wario City Night versus the Rookies?
One-sentence summary of Wario City Night versus the Rookies.
I can give you a
I'll
one-word
give you 3 words,
sentence.
Willie.
Go ahead.
Home Run Derby.
Yep. So we'll have to see whether or not the Rookies, who were kept... Honestly, 10 points versus the Flowers was relatively small. We'll have to see whether the Monsters have that level of defense. Meanwhile, next pick, DK Jungle Day for the Monsters' next home field. A little bit bigger, a little bit harder to hit home runs, but not as slap-happy as something like Peach's Ice Garden. What do you think about the Monsters versus the Rookies on that, with the Monsters having home field advantage?
On the third stadium of the day?
On the third stadium of the day, DK Jungle Day.
Sorry for asking so many confirmation questions. I'm just a little bit distracted right now by things that are going on in the broadcasting booth.
Is that a rat? Oh my god.
Not for long, Willie.
I got it. Talk about the state. Come here, you.
Okay, so the thing about DK Jungle is it's a very neutral park. It's large dimensions, so it's not favoring slugging quite the way that something like Wario City does, but it doesn't quite have as much field disruption as something like Yoshi Park either. Any kind of offense can work there. Solid outfield defense can help swing things in your favor. During the daytime especially, you don't have to worry about as much chaos. It's as close to a neutral park as you can get to anything other than, say, Mario Stadium, which just has no on-the-field chaos at all.
Well, we'll be plenty to talk about with Mario Stadium, I'm sure, when we talk about it in 2 stadiums, but let me hand you this broom so that you can go take care of that fucking rat while I talk about Yoshi Park. Yoshi Park has been the bane of the Monsters this entire season. While they did take it over the rookies, thanks to that certain play that will go unmentioned for the rest of this broadcast, it will come up at least 2 more times. That was really a slip up in the defense that allowed them to take that play. Their first loss of the season was on Yoshi Park versus the Musicians. And I have some inside knowledge with Captain Bowser that they have never loved going back to that place. They unfortunately weren't able to use their ban on it in the finals, thanks to not having wanted to let both Warrior City and Daisy Cruiser through. But more surprising to me was the fact that the rookies banned out the Bowsers. No Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, no Bowser's Castle, which is the rookies' almost what I would have considered their home field. No. They didn't want either of those fields on the board, and as a result, through our picks, we have Peach's Ice Garden, Warrior City, DK Jungle, Yoshi Park, and our tiebreaker. Should it come down to it at the end of the day, we will be heading to the most honest ball field we can of Mario Stadium. But, well, in order to play, we have to get through game 1, don't we? So, we will set up with the players as we are ready to head into game 1 of these finals. The only notable thing to mention here, the rookies have really stepped on the gas. They've gone beyond 150cc. They've entered mirror mode as they reflect their fielding choices across the center line. We'll have to see whether that affects their fielding ability as we go. And the ever indecisive monsters have once again very slightly flipped up their batting, putting Boo back into that first slot position and trying to tighten up the back end with both Thermite and Elric flanking the ever fearsome Salamander. We'll have to see whether those batting choices impact our game, but as we do last verification before we start, any last comments on these two teams before we head into Peach's Ice Garden, Silver Lily?
Well, I think before anything else happens, I have to admit a little bit of bias ahead of this cast. While I am the Musicians' home commentator, I must say that I am a fan of the rookies. They are my second favorite team in the league. So I know who I'm rooting for here today. My words are flipping around a little bit like the rookies lineup and fielding positions have.
Well, on the plus side, I can say that I have absolutely no bias here, and that I obviously can be trusted to give you a purely even-handed cast straight down the middle. Anyway, let's go Monsters. 3-0 them. Let's go Monsters. Love the Monsters. Hit a home run. Love the Monsters. Let's go. Alright, we're all ready to start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 1 of the Grand Slam Galaxy Finals, starting off on Peach's Ice Garden. Thank God. You know what we haven't had in a long time? A player protest.
I realized I had been watching the screen in the broadcast booth with the delayed broadcast that's sent out
Whoopsie daisy.
online. Not the actual game itself.
Well, welcome back just in time as Boo faces down Bowser Jr. to start us off here. Bowser Jr. deep hit. Little bit of a chance, but no. With no item support, the first play of the finals will be a pop fly to Thermite in right field. Alright. Now, I'm very curious here. Obviously, the Monsters have been the team that love to go to these disruptive fields the most, but a deep hit by Brock finds a new line that we're not very used to seeing. An easy triple.
Triple that wouldn't have been were it not for that Icy getting in the way of a Garrick. But that's the sort of thing you have to watch out for on the stadium. That wasn't quite the Peach Ice Garden triple I was talking about, but it is still a triple on Peach's Ice Garden.
You know, it's funny. I actually don't think that many teams have just taken advantage of the fact that if you just hit it clean down the middle, you've got a really good shot here. This is much more what
It's
we're
usually
used
hits
to.
like that, Willie. And that will be good for the first run of the game on a double by Critter, bringing Brock home with little chance from the fielding to put a stop to any of it.
Well, excellent opening from the rookies now. With only one out, there's a lot of pressure on the monsters to try to find some way to shut them down. But with Cookie and Hammer Bro up next, big pop fly from Cookie. There is chance for item disruption, but no. Agaric makes the smart play, jumps up to avoid the shell. What excellent awareness from him to stop what could have been a devastating knockdown that could have allowed Critter to snag a base.
I feel like it's so rare that we see players jump the shell. As Hammer Bro hits a long ball, it will curve foul just before it crosses the outfield line. And is going to try and do it again, this time with a line drive right up the first baseline. But Bowser will make the jumping catch in order to shut down the inning. The rookies held to 1 in the top of the first.
Still, score in the first inning, you can't really complain about that type of start. And as Boo is brought back to the top of the order, well, he immediately flunks out. His attempt at a charge hit easily caught out by Critter at second base.
Boo was brought back to the top of the order, reminds us why he was moved to 9th, as Strawberry will hit a slap up the center, but the quick fielding from Brown Critter down to Bouncer is going to shut that down before Strawberry can take first base.
And
Agaric hits the long ball here, but it's far too high and easily caught by Brown Critter, responsible for 2 of the outs this inning.
Well, if we had to pick which team is starting off these finals hotter, the rookies holding the Monsters' feet to the fire, as the Monsters are very unable to produce. We'll have to see if the slap hitters in the second half of their lineup, or the second 2/3 of the lineup, are able to do anything. But in the meantime, while the Monsters put up 3, the rookies are on batter number 6, and Bouncer hits a beautiful shot out to right field for a single.
Their recent experience with the Ice Garden might actually mean that the rookies are a little fresher, a little more comfortable on it than the Monsters are. While the Monsters have played on it more during the regular season, it's been a while since they've gone there. And we might be seeing the effects of that. Brown Critter stepping up to the plate with 2 on and no outs. Very dangerous situation if you're the Monsters. Boo doing his best to pitch around Critter's hits, but Critter will still be able to find it for a slap. It's good for a single to load the bases.
And on a stadium like Peach's Ice Garden, something we don't talk about as often is the strength of sacrifice pop flies. John Cena's hit, though, won't be a sacrifice. We have an opportunity for a Peach Ice Garden triple to drive in 3 more runs. John Cena gonna make it all the way to third safely. Bases loaded, bases almost emptied, as a classic triple brings in 3 more for the rookies, and they start off this game on fire with a 4-0 scoreline.
Gotta be careful, rookies. Melt the ice and you might give the Monsters their footing back.
Well, with star pitcher Boo being taken out in the second inning, I don't think many Rookies fans are going to be that worried about it. Captain Bowser stepping up. He does have that extra star power for a little bit of extra juice on his fastballs, but, well, the question now that we have to ask is, how long can he last on what is supposed to be a very offensive map?
A good start to his pitching with that hit going to Bolt out in,
Second base.
Second base. I don't know how I managed to forget my fielding positions this late into the season, but I've done it. Anyway, that hit over to Bolton second base. That is a sacrifice, I guess single. It wasn't really a fly. To bring in John Cena, put 2 outs for Green Critter. Misses 1 to a Bowser star pitch, and then hits it foul. Another star pitch is going to lock in the strikeout. And Bowser gets his team out of the jam.
Well, now responsibility on the Monsters. 5 runs is not a overwhelming deficit when it's only the second inning, but that is quite a lot if you start the inning off with a line drive right to the left fielder for the first out.
We're going to see Seeker now taking his turn at the plate, hoping to be the first one on base for the Monsters, but a high pop like that out to right field is easily caught by John Cena. Now it's up to Thermite, 2 outs, none on. The 6th batter in the order in the bottom of the 2nd. Will he be the first of the Monsters players to reach base in this series? He will be, with a single up the center to bring it up for Salamander.
As a reminder, as Salamander finds the line for a beautiful shot, I think this should only be a double with a buddy throw. No buddy throw means that this will be a triple and the first run scored for the Monsters. But
the Bananas, I think, got in the way of that buddy throw there. John Cena took one step back too many and tripped on a peel on the ice. That's definitely a hazard.
Something to make note of here is that this was the Monsters' first pick. This was no bans were made. This is exactly where the Monsters want to go above all other stadiums. And if they lose this one like it looks like they might, as they're down 4 runs through the 2nd inning, well, that's not a great start to a finals appearance, is it?
No, it is not. They finally managed to make something happen here, but it's only good for 1. Then again, so was the rookie's first scoring inning. So it is still not over yet. We have plenty of baseball left to play. A 5-run lead looks impressive, but then you remember that it's on Peach's Ice Garden, and any team can pull that off at any time with a little bit of decent batting.
Well, with a boo, with a clean aim, is the boo used? No. No boo usage means that Hammerbow is kept to a double off of what very easily could have been a triple or even an in-the-park home run, given a little bit of unluckiness on the ice.
Bowser sees Bouncer commit to the charge up, decides to pitch the star just to throw him off. However, Bouncer will find the next fastball, hits it out to center, falls right before Garrick can find it. It's good for a single, advances Hammerbro to 3rd. Bolt's gonna reel this one in, however. Gets Ohoho's hit right into his glove for the out and turns it over to Boo at first for the double play.
Well, that does mean that the Monsters are able to find their first inning where they keep the rookies scoreless. But again, as they enter batter number 8 of their batting rotation, theoretically the weakest section, batter number 9, excuse me, they have a lot of work to do if they want to make their way back into this game. Still, at the bottom of the 3rd, plenty of time to do it, though not off hits like that from Bolt, grounding out right to Hammerbro at shortstop.
I think what we're seeing here is the huge difference between the Monsters' defensive pick for the infield and the rookies. Both of them are known for having that amazing reel and catch style that you can see on a few hotly contested defensive players in the league, like the Bros and the Magikoopas. But those Magikoopa players do not have the bat to back it up. They secondary in pitching. Meanwhile, Hammerbro was the only player in the previous inning for the rookies to have made a splash. However, it doesn't really matter that it was the Magikoopa here for the Monsters, as nobody is even able to find base for the 2nd inning.
No one scores in the 3rd, but whereas the rookies got multiple base runners on and made it look real scary, the Monsters have only had so many people even touch a base so far this game. It's looking very dangerous for them as Garrick catches that pop fly from Brown Critter. Bolt successfully reels in the grounder from John Cena, but each and every one of these hits tires out the captain Bowser more and more, and we gotta wonder how good the pitching rotation really can be from the Monsters when you're relying on your 2nd string so early in the game. Bowser at least locks it down, and the rookies are kept 3 up, 3 out in the top of the 4th.
I think something important to realize about the pitchers in Galaxy League is that any player can have the longevity just as long as their team is backing them up. Bowser has only let on a couple hits and 1 run since going up there. His morale is still going to be pretty good heading later into the game, provided his team's defense keeps up. And now it's the rookies' turn to keep up their defense with 1 on Agaric, And Bowser up at the plate. He's going for the charge hit on the third hit. The Monsters will not use their Boo as Critter goes for the dive very early. Reels it in basically on the plate already and turns it for the double play. Completely defuses the Monsters' chance at an offense. Seeker going to see if he can make something happen. Some shell support's going to guarantee he at least makes it to first.
Though this is a trend that's developing for the Monsters, where their offense only really starts in earnest once they're at 2 outs. And, well, everyone knows, once you're on defense, you see those 2 outs on the scoreboard, you got a little bit less pressure on you, and typically the lower mental game will lead to better defensive plays. Not really necessary as Thermite grounds out to Critter at second base, but the Monsters now, after going scoreless in the 4th, well, that 4-run lead is looking bigger and bigger and bigger the later we get into this game, especially with big hitters from the rookies able to come up at any moment. Here's Brock now.
Another star pitch charged too early, and Bowser's almost certain to throw it at you, though this time Brock does not charge at all and is met with another bullet bill for his troubles. Bowser going to try and lock down the strikeout with a regular pitch, does not manage it. Instead, it's a grounder over to the shortstop. Salamander tosses it to first for the out. Green Critter up, he's charging early. Bowser throws a star pitch.
You gotta really hope that these star pitches don't tire out Bowser's arm as he is firing them off with wild abandon. That's gonna do a number on your joints, especially for a man like Bowser. Now, he does let up a solo base hit, so plenty of time for the defense to clean it up. But yeah, just like I said, all that star power so quickly, and in the top of the 5th, the second batter for the Monsters is starting to tire. Thankfully, Bolt's magic wand able to do miracles and turn the double play to clean up the inning, but you gotta wonder, once the Monsters get to their 3rd, maybe even 4th pitcher in this game, how much further they can go on. Cookie now, still looking fresh as she faces down Salamander, the 7th batter for the Monsters. Beautiful shot.
One of these advantages to the pitchers in jerseys that we've seen a couple teams turn to, primarily the rookies and then the musicians later in the season. Salamander hitting a good Peach Ice Garden triple there. But is that they have some really good staying power on the mound. They don't use their star power much. They're not amazing pitchers. Interesting defensive play from Critter there, throwing home just to cut off Salamander and hoping Bowser Jr. can throw back to first in time to cut off Edward. He does manage it, which means that the Monsters are left with an out instead of 2 on. Still 1 on instead of 1 away. However, a good slap from Bolt with some fire support is going to finally bring Salamander in and allow him to make it to first. Definitely making up for his earlier performance in this game.
It does mean that the rookie's lead is cut to 3, but 3 is still a hell of a number. Good slapping from both Boo and Bolt, who despite being defensive players, well, when they're on, and we're back at the top of the order. We're past the top of the order, excuse me, as Boo is number 1, as Strawberry steps up, and, well, it looks like they want a big hit here.
Peach's Ice Garden is good for giving up triples, but if all you're looking for is a single, you can't go wrong with the slap up the center, especially against defensive players like Hammer Bro and Green Critter.
Strawberry Slap will load the bases for Agaric, who is an incredible slap hitter, but the charge leads to a straight up the middle hit. Strawberry barely reaches second, but the bases remain loaded. Agaric's hit brings in, I believe, Bolt from third base. Yes, the Monsters have scored 2 in this inning. They've cut the rookie's lead down to 2. Cookie is starting to get tired. She'll be pulled out for Bowser Jr. from behind the catcher's plate. And just like that, the Monsters are in a great position here to do some damage, providing Captain Bowser doesn't hit this ball incorrectly. He'll watch the first pitch on a star pitch. Deep slider.
Gonna see another charge up. I had something I was talking about, but I guess I'll get to it later. Unfortunately, that hit is far too high, and there's not enough momentum on on the ice to throw off her positioning. Who means nothing, and even with icy interference, she time in the world to get under that one, get her feet stable. It'll only be good for one out. It'll be a sacrifice fly that drives another in, cuts the lead down to 1.
You gotta point out Bowser, when he got out there, started running just through the middle of the field. I don't think that dude, you gotta run off the field, man. I'm not gonna tell him though. He's in the finals. He's in the zone. He's not thinking about where he is. And if anyone throws the balls and hit him, well, that's their problem. As Seeker, with 2 strikes, 2 outs, hits it right to Hammer Bro and ends the inning for the Monsters. A good start to a comeback, but they're still 1 run down with 4 innings remaining. And a big hitter, Hammer Bro, next up on the field. If anyone in this game can hit a home run, well, it would have been Hammer Bro, but no. His hit is just a single, barely a single actually. It's good fielding from the Monsters. Try to turn that out, but it's enough intimidation to take Bowser off the mound, put him at that second base position, and Bolt is brought in to pitch.
And as I was talking about with pitchers in jerseys, one of the reasons the teams that have started to favor them have favored them is that they have that stamina. It took Cookie 5 innings, well, 4 and a little by pitcher ratings, to leave the mound. Meanwhile, in the same number of innings, or just a little over, the Monsters are onto their 3rd pitcher already. Jersey pitchers aren't the best pitchers. They don't have the best control, they don't have the fastest fastballs, but they have the stamina to stay on the mound for a while. And when you don't have a lot of pitching talent on the team, that can get you through games that you might not otherwise have gotten through. We're seeing the opposite in effect with the Monsters pitching, as they're already on who they would really want to have as a closer in the 6th. However, that closer is good to get them through an inning, quick 1-2 single 3. And we see the Monsters up at bat once more. Sorry for monopolizing basically that entire inning to talk about Jersey pitchers.
Now it's a fair series of points to get through. Thermite starts off this inning by grounding out 2 Critter. And now it's Salamander's job to try to blast through Bowser Jr. on the mound, who makes use of his star power to put a lot of pressure on. And as Salamander knocks the second pitch foul, he'll have 2 strikes and a lot of pressure on him to deliver. There's a difference in star power. Monsters are loaded up, whereas the rookies have run out. But, well, there's a lot more pressure when you're on the mound to use that star power correctly, and a lot of players like not to use it at all. Elric up, charges, hits it. There is item support, but we shouldn't see it in time to stop the play, and we do not.
The item support was in fact blocked by the field, hit the icy, and fell away uselessly. It's now up to Bolt to try and keep this inning alive for the Monsters. He's been able to do it once, but won't be able to do it this time. A quick pop over to Hammer Bro at shortstop will end the inning.
Responsibility.
One
run difference.
I was going to say, yeah, 1 run is all that separates these 2 teams as we head into the top of the 7th.
God, imagine if Bowser had the speed to play in the outfield with that cannon of an arm on him. But no. And second base position, he'll have to settle for taking 2 groundouts actually from John Cena and from Bowser Jr. back to back. And Brock, well, if he gets on, Critter's behind him, which will put a lot of pressure on, and that good hit up center field will do it. So despite being at 2 outs, well, we've seen plenty of triples on Peach Ice Garden before. We've seen Critter hit them with a runner on. That looks good.
That's probably going to be a triple, Willie. Will the item support be fired? We will see it, but it's a little too late. Buddy throw attempt to try and get back to home, but with Bowser caught in the ice, he's unable to aid it, and Brock runs, or not, was Brock the one who got the hit? Yes, Brock was the one on base. Brock runs into home. Can't believe I'm getting my players mixed up this late into the season. Especially when one of them looks like Critter.
Well, now Bowser Jr.'s team has that 2-run lead, and Bolt needs to get his team out of this inning with a runner in scoring position unless they want to give up even more damage. Cookie grounds out to Salamander at shortstop, so it's only 1 for the rookies in this inning. But, well, that just makes the Monster job harder and harder and harder. They are in a decent spot in their batting rotation for the bottom of the 7th, entering right at the top. But they've got a 2-run deficit. Bolt is starting to tire on the mound in the 7th inning, and the question of who they bring in to relieve and finish out this game will be one that hangs heavy on them, especially if they're not able to get much done offensively here in the bottom of the 7th.
Bowser Jr. reaching for that star power like he likes to, doing so against Boo, who's not the most threatening batter, and is going to get a couple strikes, and then a ground out over to Hammerbro.
This is where
Strawberry stepping up for the Monsters now. Excellent slap hitter. We've been seeing it all season from all 3 Piantas, but Strawberry especially has the team to really back him up. It's going to be able to turn a single, but it's a a close thing. It's a very close thing with some amazing fielding from Brown Critter and Hammerbro, almost catching him out at first anyways. Agaric will take another single to a similar spot. That one's a lot closer, with Agaric being the much faster player. Now it is father v son, captain v captain, batter v pitcher. Charge up from Bowser, but he will watch the first one, doesn't watch the second. It's another high and long ball. You're going to need to fire the pow block to cancel this one out. Does so, but it is too late. Brown Critter had his glove all over it.
Agaric is running.
A wild throw gives the batters confidence to advance, and it's Strawberry that is able to make it, but Agaric had headed far too far back towards first base, and he can't quite make it back to second in time, giving up a double play on what could have been a single base advance from just Strawberry or even both players if Agaric had had a little bit more confidence.
That is disaster for the Monsters as they head into a 2-run deficit with 2 innings left to go, and the question hangs over them: how long until Bolt takes himself off the mound? Deep hit from Hammerbro, just barely evades the outfield, and a pow block too. I think we might see, is it a triple? It's just a triple for the Monsters, but the first batter of the inning immediately put into position to make this a 3-run game is terrible news for them as Bouncer steps up to the plate.
It's going to be on the defense to try and lock this down. A grounder like that's going to give them the help they need. This Bouncer hits it over to Salamander and gets out at first. Up to the plate now, but Salamander's looking for the heroics. Diving catch to stop what might have been a single that brought in a runner. Forces Hammerbro back to third, and now it's a 2 outs with 1 on situation. Bolt might just be able to weave his way out of the jam with Salamander's help, but you have to get through Brown Critter first.
No, that's
the
a big
original
hit.
Defensively lauded Critter is now going to have to show off his offense with that long double out to left field, sailing over Salamander and Edward Elric's heads. Not as difficult on that second one, and it'll be enough to bring Hammerbro home and extend the lead to 3 runs.
Disaster for the Monsters as Agaric is brought in to close out the pitching for this game. Means there's no synergy in the outfield. Well, no, synergy is maintained in the outfield, which is fine and good for them. As, you know, John Cena grounds out to Salamander to end the inning. But a Bolt is now in center field, is an extremely slow player, and those threatening doubles and triples are all the more so when you have someone who can't run trying to pick up those deep hits. Now,
I guess it could be worse because at least there's not much of a home run threat on this field. But
honestly, Those triples are basically just as dangerous on an inning like this, as Red Koopa grounds out to Bouncer, the only hope for the Monsters. Bowser Jr. taken off the field, brought in from left field.
And what could be pretty bad for the Rookies. That will also open up a hole in their left field, though, as I was saying, that's not as important on the stadium. What matters more is the speed of your outfielders, and Bowser Jr.'s got some gas in those legs.
Well, now it's up to Salamander to try to find a hole in this defense with a runner on. Watches the first pitch, blasts the second hit foul, so now with 2 strikes, still full star power for the Monsters. Charge hit, deep, but this boost should not be here in time. Yeah, that's a catch from Brown Critter. It will be fired,
but it's not enough to make Brown Critter drop it. I guess the other big important thing for outfield chemistry on this field, it's not really about the buddy jumps. It's not about stopping the home runs that aren't going to happen. It's about the buddy throws. It's about being able to get the ball back into the infield in time to cut things off. Won't matter here, as everyone keeps hitting it right out to Brown Critter. This time it's Edward Elric to close things up. The Rookies have one last chance to extend their lead and make it completely unassailable from the Monsters as we go into the top of the 9th.
Also, the Monsters will be starting. The Rookies are starting with their first batter, top of the order, Bowser Jr. The Monsters next inning will be starting with batter number 9, Bolt. So extra pressure on them as they're starting in a very weak section of their batting order. Agaric needs to clean up these 3 batters quickly if he wants his team to have a chance in this game, as they're down 3 runs.
Now, to be fair, Willie, the current batter 1 from the Rookies was their batter 9 for most of the season. As a reminder to everyone watching, the Rookies completely mirrored their batting order going into the playoffs.
They didn't mirror the batting order, they only mirrored...
No, Bowser Jr. used to be batter number 9.
No, he was batter number 1.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Well, ignore me then. I don't know shit.
2 quick outs at least against the Rookies for the Monsters, and a strikeout from Agaric on Critter. Looks like he was the right call after all. The Monsters, well, lots of pressure on them. They need 3 runs to take this into extras, 4 runs to ice the game on their home pick. I will point out, as Bolt does not start out well, he pops it right to Critter. The first game for the Monsters, preseason, they were down in the 9th on Peach's Ice Garden, and they brought it back to win that game. Can they repeat that in the finals? Boo, slaps it. Salamander,
whoa,
Critter jumps,
play,
misses, dives, catches it. Now, at batter number 2 in their order, if the Monsters want this game, they need to do it with 2 outs. Well, it's a start with Strawberry. Might get caught at first. No, just barely makes it for a single. Agaric now. Responsibility on the man who got the last strikeout.
I've gotten some extra confirmation. They did not reverse their order, and I don't know how I got confused in that regard. I think so many teams recently shuffled around their 1st and 9th hitters, shuffled around their lineups just enough that I forgot who was where for a number of teams.
I think Bowser has done a pop fly to get out every single at-bat so far this game, and with him charging against to finish this off, charge, hit, it's a line drive. It's a Boo-assisted line drive.
Boo support. That's an excellent item to get here because it means Brown Critter completely lost track of it. It's enough to bring 2 in. The buddy throw to home is going to cut Bowser off and prevent them from tying it up.
It
has taken this back to a 1-run game. A good single from the next batter is all it will take to at least send us to extras.
The tying run. The captain is on 3rd base. Seeker, who has been in that 5th batter slot for so long this season, all the responsibility on him. Oh ho ho, here's the pitch. Contact straight up the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, with a shell support, we are at least seeing extras in game number 1 of this finals. But can the Monsters finish out this game as their winning run is on 1st base?
That is the classic hit you see in Galaxy League. A good hit up the center, dodging both infielders, hitting the ground, before the center fielder can find it. It's good enough for a single everywhere, and it's especially good enough here. Hammer Bro will turn the out and make sure we do go to extras. He's determined not to lose the game like that.
And with a dangerous section of the rookies lineup up, Cookie, Hammer Bro, Bouncer, Agaric again needs to come to the mound in a dangerous position. Cookie immediately starts off with a very excellent single to right field to get on base. Hammer Bro has already brought in runners earlier this game as he faces Agaric. Well, the slow ball straight up the middle is let through. Inside curveball to get strike number 2 now. Agaric trying to pitch on the outside. Catches the strikeout. That's 2 strikeouts for Agaric in the finals.
Hammer Bro, too. What a performance.
Bouncer knocks it straight to Bowser, who quickly turns the double play to get the Monsters out of the top of inning number 10 with 0 scores against them. I do not believe what I am seeing.
I'm finding it hard to believe as well. Salamander up now. This is our first extra inning game in the postseason, and it's in the first game of the finals. Salamander hits one that is high and long enough that with some icy support, he's able to get it, and some boost support following. He not only doesn't get out, he gets a triple off of it. Winning run on third. No outs for the Monsters. Bottom of the 10th.
A steal!
This will be a walk-off, but it's actually a steal attempt. Cookie runs down Salamander and attempts to catch him out.
A weak hit!
That could be disastrous. The weak hit's enough. The weak hit's enough.
What in God's green earth just happened to end this game? Salamander going for the hit. Elric hits it for nothing, and while he would have gotten caught out at first, Salamander touches home and steals the winning run for the Monsters to snag Game 1 of the finals in overtime on Peach's Ice Garden. Barn burner?
I would say so, Willie. What a start. What a start to our final series here of the season.
What an incredible... I mean, who gets MVP off of all that? I better be Salamander. Yes, it is. Well deserved.
I almost want to give it to Agaric for that incredible closing pitching performance, but Salamander's offensive performance that won the team the game definitely boosts him into that MVP slot.
I cannot believe the season starts for the Monsters in the preseason with an incredible comeback victory on Peach's Ice Garden, and in game number 1 of the finals, with their life on the line, down 3 runs, no batters on, 2 outs, somehow they claw it back and get a tight 7-8 victory over the Rookies. What an incredible, incredible game to start off our finals. Silva Lily, where do we even start with analysis here?
I do not know. I mean, seeing the numbers here, it absolutely makes sense why Salamander was given the MVP nod. Not only incredible batting, or at least enough, one of the best performances on his team, and enough to get the win, but some amazing fielding that shut down Rookie's offensive push after Rookie's offensive push.
Sorry, did Agaric get 3 strikeouts that game?
It appears so, Willie. I think ties for the most strikeouts we've ever seen from a single player. Wild pitching from Agaric to snag... In a single game, to be clear.
Yeah. Wild pitching from Agaric, brought in from center field and shown to know how to pitch. Just a little bit tricking out the offensive batters from the Rookies. One good triple level hit on Peach's Ice Garden with a slow bolt out in center field could have turned that game so quickly, but it's the Monsters who managed to flip game 1 on its head and win it in overtime. Now, that was their pick.
I think the story of this game, especially, Willie, is just a handful of explosive innings. This was a 7-8 game. How did the team score their runs? Well, the Rookies scored 1 in the first, 4 in the second, and then 1 in each of the 7th and the 8th. How did the Monsters score their runs? Well, they scored 1 in the second, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 9th, and 1 in the 10th. This was an incredibly tight game where either team could be shut down or blow up at any time. This is the type of game I was expecting to see from Flowers' Rookies in the previous series, and the sort of game we did see for most of it until 2 of those explosive innings went to the Rookies right near the end.
Well,
here the Rookies got an explosive start, and the Monsters found it later to tie it back up and secure it.
Well, speaking of explosive games, we're going to head right into an explosive park. While the Monsters managed to clutch out barely their home pick of Peach's Ice Garden, it's the Rookies who get to go on, well, an offensive derby, as we described it earlier, as we're heading to Wario City next. Do you think that the early defensive pitching woes of the Monsters will rear their head here? Or do you think that with that win, the Rookies will have a fire lit under them to maybe get some of their batting absolutely slamming out home runs on a much more accessible park?
I think both are going to happen, Willie. I think the Rookies are going to absolutely kill it with home runs here, and I think that's going to mean the Monsters churn through pitchers faster than we've seen any team other than the Bows.
Well, we will have to see. We're going to head straight into it and not keep the audience waiting, as the players are all set to go. And game 2 of our finals, this best of 5 finals, as a reminder, with the Monsters up 1, we are heading to Wario City at night, a slugger's paradise, as we continue this finals series. Thank you everyone for joining me, and now that I've stalled for enough time to make sure that everything is perfectly correct, let's head straight into it. Well, the Monsters did an absolute miracle on the ice in order to pull back that game. Only the US versus Russia team miracle can compare to that. They'll take more than a miracle if they want to pull off a victory on Wario City night, I feel.
Rookies fans in the audience worried that I might have cursed them. We will see, because it's the Monsters first up for this inning and for this game. This is the Rookies' first home field of the series. Boo immediately hitting an out, a pop out to left field, followed by a slap, or pop out to right field, followed by a slap to left from Strawberry to put himself on first. Much earlier first person on base for the Monsters this game, but that'll turn to the first double play of the game just as quickly as Agaric hits a line drive out to right that some impressive fielding by Critter reels in and turns into a very fast double play.
Well, pressure's on Boo to last a little bit longer in this game, and, well, forcing Bowser Jr., the captain, to slap out early is a good way to do it.
One of those classic batting follies, slapping a little bit too far so the outfielders get it instead of the infielders do. A couple of quick outs before any sluggers come up for the Rookies isn't the best news, but Critter is up now and is known to be one of those sluggers. Charges twice, but some tricky balls from Boo means he watches both looking, strikes both looking. Instead just takes a slap single out to left for the first runner on for the Rookies.
If Cookie manages to get on, if there are 2 runners on for Hammerbro, we could very quickly see a 3-run lead for the Rookies. So pressure's on Boo to find some weakness in Cookie's offense here. 2 strikes off 2 curveballs, a ball too. Looks like a pitch down the middle. That'll be good contact as it goes up the third baseline and stays in. It'll do more than put runners on. It'll put runners on the court. Wait! Yes, Quitter makes it to third base.
Corners. It was a close thing, but an excellent line drive from Cookie there. Perfect placement to land just inside that foul line. And it's Hammerbro. It's a scary situation if you're a Monsters fan. If you're a Rookies fan, you're hoping it hits Wario's top hat. Strike 1, ball 1. Good plate discipline from Hammerbro. Watching the balls here, charging up on the ones that'll be inside, but it's a bit high. Does the power block get fired? Not in time. Agaric makes the catch to get the Monsters out of that situation. Both teams go scoreless into the second.
Now it's the starred slugger Bowser up against Cookie here. He charges. He didn't have a lot of luck on Peach's Ice Garden, but deep hit. Sails over Critter and John Cena in right field, and the scoring starts off for the Monsters, as the captain is the one to get the first bomb of this game. Well, that is
like Hammerbro might be having a little bit of playoff nerves. We were expecting him to be the one to blow this up right away. Instead, he's having troubles hitting pop flies. Well, it's Bowser that's the first to hit it over the fence, and does so cleanly. Buddy Jump not getting there in time.
Well, there's still plenty of at-bats left for Hammerbro in this game, and as the next 2 batters, Seeker and Thermite, step up and are knocked down and pop flies, Cookie only has to face Salamander, who is a home run caliber hitter, but can he do it on Wario Stadium? It's deep, straight down the middle.
That's the perfect way to do it. Straight down center is the easiest home run to get, with that little bit of a dip cut into the outfield by that entrance to that theater.
The Monsters have shown up here, and while Cookie might feel a little bit embarrassed and might, well, we'll have to watch how quickly she tires out, every other batter that didn't hit a home run was a quick, easy out, meaning that it's only 2 runs on the inning. The Rookies in their very first inning had a chance that they barely missed for 3. So I'm not exactly looking at this 2-run lead as something big for the Monsters, but, well, if they can continue to knock away these home runs while the Rookies continue to struggle against Boo, maybe there is a chance on Wario City after all.
See a strike swinging and a ball looking there, and then a strike looking. It's up to Bouncer now to try and get something out of this other than an out, and he does with a slap up center for a single. I've said that a million times this season, and I'll say it a million times more in these playoffs. It's enough to get 1 on with no outs for the Rookies. Definitely the situation they've been hoping to be in this whole time. We're going to see a long ball from... but it's not good enough. Doesn't meet the fence and instead is caught out of the air by Edward Elric. So it'll be 1 on and 1 away when Brown Critter comes up. The pow block, good positioning there, disrupts the fielders without disrupting the runners, and that's going to be enough to bring Bouncer in on an RBI double. Little bit of item and field assistance there, and again, it's like, watch it in that replay, you see perfect positioning from that pow block. Cuts the lead to 1, keeps a runner on.
It was actually incredible how that ball managed to just barely bounce over the left arrow, which would have denied that double into RBI, but excellent placement from Brown Critter to bring in the first run. As John Cena, batter 9, comes up to the plate, he has a runner in scoring position on Wario City. That's dangerous, especially with a star hit denying the catch from Salamander. Agaric, there you go, he remembers he's on the game. Agaric was picking his nose, giving Brown Critter plenty of time to run in the ball there. And while it's only a single for John Cena, it lets Brown Critter run all the way home on an embarrassing play that ties the game for the Rookies.
Suddenly, the rookies, the team we were expecting to be slugging it away left and right, well, they've tied it up, and they've tied it up off small ball after it's the monsters that put 2 over the fence. It'll be a quick double play off that hit straight out to Bolt at second base. A good hop from him is actually what's able to secure it, and that will finally lock up the inning for the rookies. But suddenly this game is looking very competitive.
Bolt now, batter number 9, easily caught out by Hammerbow, who has been such a key defensive player for the rookies, and swapped over to shortstop. Well, it looks like it was the right call, at least for one play. Boo now, top of the order, slap hit, just barely out of range of Hammerbow, will let the first batter knock away a single. Now it'll be Strawberry. Item support from McGark behind them, but doesn't quite need it as the slap guarantees another good single from a hit to center
right
field.
Spot in center field. No arrows, no fielding support here. It's like the monsters have seen the rookies play small ball and said, hey, we can do that too. And they are certainly going to try with a choice of bunting from Agaric that turns disastrous. No runners advanced when you've got Strawberry going to second. It's just a double play.
If they had item support, maybe they could have made something happen. We've seen great bunts turn those levels of play before, but very, very smart play from the rookies to have the wherewithal not just to catch out the runner at first, but to throw out the runner at second before that in order to guarantee the out. Now, while the first batter for the inning for the rookies, Brock, hits it out to first base, Critter follows it up with a good stop to get a man on, and once again, if Cookie is able to get on base here, with Critter also on, Hammerbow will be set up for a redemption 3-run homer, and that's exactly what's going to happen as Cookie knocks a good single up the middle. Runner on first, runner on second, Boo beginning to tire, and the slugger to end all sluggers at the plate in Warrior City.
Perfect conditions for the rookies. A tiring pitcher, 2 on. Hammerbro, star player up. Watches 1, charges on the second. He's hitting it. It's high, it's far. Is it gone? It is gone. Sailing over the head, over the apex of that buddy jump. Nobody except maybe a baby with super jump could have made that. And there aren't any on this field today. They were eliminated before the postseason even started. That will be a 3-run home run for the Hammerbro. Postseason nerves blown away just like that. And a 3-run lead for the rookies that chases Boo off the mound.
Well, Bowser, the captain, brought in the bottom of the third. That's still very early, especially as Bouncer knocks a clean shot to right field. That will be a back-to-back home run for the rookies for 4 points in 2 plays to turn this game right on its head, and they'll take the lead 2-6 in the bottom of the third. Early charge from but you'll watch the first pitch. Like you gotta say with the rookies, statistically the best batters, even though is caught out by Salamander, it's only 2 outs, and well, almost anyone on this team can hit a home run. Leave it just to Brown Critter to charge early against Bowser. Good contact, but it'll just be a line drive up center field for a single.
That it will. 1 on and 2 away for John Cena. Stepping up to the plate now, trying to keep this rally going. He's gonna find that slap hit up center that's been working so great for his team today. Brings Bowser Jr. up to the plate. Fastball's gonna catch him looking. Charging up ahead of time to try and catch this one. Does so. Finds the gap in the left field between the 2 fielders, and it's enough to give him a single and bring Brown Critter home from second. John Cena advancing to third. Runners on the corners now for Brock. Looks like Bowser might turn to the star pitches to try and lock this one up.
Contact from Brock barely evades the glove of Boo on first base, and while he's caught He's caught out on first just in time to stop the runner heading to home to score, but Bowser, obvious look of frustration on his face as a tied game goes to a 5-run deficit in a matter of moments. And unlike the rookies, Bowser might be a big slugger, but he's got no runners on base.
Yeah, the runner has to reach first for the run to count on a third out play. Even if the person makes it home, Bowser is going to immediately fire another long bomb of his own. Similar to Hammer Bros, sailing over the head of John Cena even at the height of his jump. But unlike Hammer Bros' home run, there's nobody on for Bowser. He was the first batter of this inning.
It'll cut the lead down to 4, but as Seeker simply knocks the ball right to the shortstop Hammer Bro for the first out, the rest of the monsters need to step up if they want to start cutting this deficit. And no, the first two immediately, either whether it's a pop or whether it's a grounder, out to Hammer Bro at shortstop. And Salamander, who hit a home run already this game, well, chance to cut this lead down to 3. But no, it'll be a ground ball to the left field for a single. With 2 outs and a run on first, you don't expect to see much from the monsters, and you won't, as Elric grounds out to the second baseman of Critter, and the monsters start off strong in the top of the 4th with a big home run, but, well, I think that the story on Wario City has, we can already see the outline, even though the draft might not be finished, depending on how the rest of this game goes. Bolt does catch a good line drive from Critter. So, never say die from the monsters. They're only down 4 in the 4th. Cookie with a chance to get a runner on for Hammer Bro.
Home run interrupted me.
No.
It's gone for you too. All right. We'll just not be concerned with it. And what we need to be concerned with right now is that Cookie slap hit after she watches a couple fastballs from Bowser. She finds his mark and finds it for a double. Considers going for the triple there, doesn't think she has it. It's the right play to make, barely gets back onto second before the ball comes in. Hammer Bro not going for the charge up hit here, instead goes for the star hit, but Thermite is able to catch it. That will be a fly out. One on, runner in scoring position, but 2 outs for the rookies here, and that will be an easily fielded hit by Bouncer. Falling right, or caught by a hop from Salamander.
Hop, skip, and a catch from Salamander as Bolt steps up and immediately grounds out to start the offense for the monsters. What they need desperately as they head into the top of their batting order is to get runners on for Bowser. The man is already 100% for home runs in this game, so if Boo, Strawberry, and Agaric can get on, that's great news for the monsters, but with both Bolt and Boo getting caught out quickly, Strawberry going for a charge hit. Listen, if they can hit a home run, it's great, but
that'll be a strike swinging. Not charging this time, going for the slap, and it's right over to Green Critter. Not quite a fly out, it'll just be a ground out, but it's enough. There was no way any player was making it to first there, let alone Strawberry. That will lock down the monsters' 5th inning and send us into the rookies' 5th.
Every position in the rookies' offense is dangerous here as makes a good hit out to center right. It'll be a single for her, but, well, with Brown Critter up, we've already seen some critters do some damage this game.
Looks like we've got a few extra fans streaming into the stadium halfway through this game here. Wonder if this is the scoreboard they were expecting to see. The Wario Stadium with these two teams, it's kind of the one we were expecting. As 2 on now off another single from Brown Critter, John Cena steps up to the plate.
For those of you
and
just...
it's another single up the center, loading the bases with no outs for the rookies.
I'm going to have to wait until this inning is over to welcome you, but With bases loaded, Bowser Jr. faces down his father, captain versus captain with no outs. Star pitch from Bowser to guarantee strike 2. Every star pitch drains his stamina more and more. It'll guarantee a strikeout versus Bowser Jr. when his team really needs it. But the question for Bowser, the second pitcher for this team in the bottom of the 5th, is how much longer can he last? And each one of these star pitches can wear out his arm faster, faster, and faster. Brock now steps up, and it's an absolute shooting spree from the pitcher.
Is he going to do it again? Lock up the strikeout. He is. Everyone swings early, even when you see it 3 times in a row. Nobody is ready for that loop-de-loop from the Bullet Bill, but that will be Bowser's swan song on the game, switching out for Bolt the Red Magic Koopa.
It's a lot of power to try to guarantee those outs, but, well, Critter pop flies, and it looks like Bowser's sacrifice on pitching might have been worth it. Hello, and welcome everyone to Grand Slam Galaxy. I'm your commissioner, Willie, or won't he, joined by my co-commentator, Silver Lily. You're tuning in to the finals of Grand Slam Galaxy as the rookies take on the monsters. The second seed taking on the first seed in our regular season. As the record right now stands 1-0 after the Monsters took Game 1 on Peach's Ice Garden in an absolute barn burner of an overtime victory. Now on a slugging match, a guard manages to touch base, Bowser hits it deep, and it goes over the head of John Cena and Brown Critter to deliver 2 for the Monsters to cut this lead down, and we have a 5-7 scoreline.
I have to point out, because I'm always looking for some of the weirder baseball statistics, we have a Noble Tiger situation from the rookie's previous inning. No outs, bases loaded, ends in team incapable of getting easy runs. Bowser put his all into that one and put his all into the start of this inning as well with that 2-run home run. Still does not give them the lead, but it cuts the deficit down to 2. Previous batter, who I kind of missed, hit a ground out over to Hammer Bro.
Seeker the Red Koopa.
Yep, Seeker the Red Koopa. And Thermite hits a fly out over to second baseman Critter. Salamander, the Red Critter, up now, is going for another home run and is going to find it bouncing off of Wario's nose. That will bring it to a 1-run game. Monsters are determined to stay in this one, but they're also much deeper into their pitching rotation. We have yet to see Cookie leave, but I think we might see it soon.
I gotta say now, batter number 4, Bowser. Batter number 7, Salamander. And no batters have really been able to succeed in their slap hits in order to put runners on. While it is a 6-7 scoreline, the rookies have the lead not just by 1, but also have a lead in terms of number of singles, number of doubles, number of opportunities generated to score. While Cookie, fan favorite, will fly out to the shortstop of Salamander, the question remains, how much longer can the Monsters keep up if they're not able to get runners on base for these big hitters? Though, right now, Hammer Bro with an amazing line drive to just do a laser beam out of this park. Cookie.
No top hat for that one. It was just high enough to make its way to the doors of the theater. They rolled out the red carpet for it. And it will be Bouncer stepping up to the plate now with a 2-run lead. Swings at 1 for a strike. Finds the second. It's a star pitch from Bolt, but it will go sailing over into Salamander's glove.
I will point out now, if the rookies want to not fall for the same fate, we'll have to get on base to set up for Brown Critter, the amazing slugger, next. Though if she can hit a home run of her own, no threat to her, but no. She'll be caught out by Salamander at shortstop. The inning will come to a close, and the one-shot home run from Hammer Bro will give the rookies back a 2-run lead. But as Cookie starts to tire and the Monsters have batter number 9, Bolt, reach base off of a Powbach and a bobble from Hammer Bro. Cookie stays on, but the runner on first base who's not supposed to be there after a defensive misplay immediately turned and cleaned up by Critter with a great diving catch followed up by the throw to first for the double.
Not every player can always be on out there in the field, but it's great to have players like Critter there to watch your back and clean up your mistakes if needed. You know there's no love lost between those two. Those two have been in the infield with each other almost this entire season, turning amazing defensive plays together. They will completely shut down the monsters in the 7th. We go into the bottom of the 7th, starting off with a slugger, Brown Critter. How long do you think Bolt the Red Magic Koopa lasts on this one, Willie?
Well, as long as Buddy catches from Agaric and Thermite can clean up stray home run caliber hits, maybe an inning? Maybe? Thankfully for the monsters, Agaric and Thermite are able to get into place there. Agaric is a very fast center fielder, so he should be able to get into place for anything that isn't an absolute bomb, like, let me check my notes, Hammer Bro, John Cena, and etc. can perform, and just like that, we have the second Jersey home run from the rookies with no runners on. It will only be a solo shot bomb, but with a 2-run lead already, extending to 3 as they go into the top of their order. Well, the rookies have to be feeling pretty good about that one, and will Bolt last an inning? We'll see.
Throwing high on that one. Bowser Jr. slaps it right away, but it's right over to the glove of his dear Papa. Is that what Bowser Jr. calls Bowser? I can never remember. I don't play Mario games.
I feel like he calls him Papa in Super Mario Sunshine, which is around when this game came out. He calls Peach Mama, even though he finds out that...
Yeah, I know about that. It's Mama Peach, even though she's not at all related.
Hey, he finds that out. Spoilers for the story of Super Mario Sunshine, a game from 2003 or something. This game is from 2008, by the way. This game is This game is almost 18 years old.
It's a lot closer to Galaxy. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have Rosalina in it.
Will this be a catch? Oh, it's an attempt at a absolute chem throw to keep it in, but no, the pow block and the deep long hit, that means it'll be an inside the park home run from Critter for the first time anywhere besides Peach's Ice Garden. The incredible item play knocks out Agaric and Thermite. The ball runs wild, and the batters take advantage of it to score 2 more for the rookies.
Agaric tried to save it with that buddy throw, but ultimately just made it a lot worse. As the pow block stunned both, and the ball went flying away from anyone who might have been in position to field it. Monsters are eventually able to end that inning, but it is now a 5-run lead for the rookies that they're staring down.
Agaric does hit the single to at least put a man on for Bowser. Cookie tires out, and it'll be Bowser Jr.'s responsibility to break his dad's home run streak on Wario City with a runner on. Charges, contact, deep. This might run foul. This will run foul.
This one was it's gonna go foul.
Second opportunity from Bowser Jr., but a slider. Well, that's straight up the middle for the King Koopa, and despite a valiant attempt from John Cena and Brown Critter, that is his 3rd home run of the game, making use of that extra star power juice that the monsters gave him entering the playoffs to absolutely knock away bombs. Bring this down to a 3-run lead with no outs yet. It's up to Seeker and Thermite. They haven't been able to produce yet. They've gone very quiet after big home runs from Bowser, but an arrow shot assisted by Sewage coming up. Sorry, a Storm Drain probably. Let Seeker steal a triple out from nothing. Well, it was a pretty good hit. It would have been a single,
I think
but
the
it turned
shell
into a
got
triple.
fired as well and might have tripped John Cena up a second time as he went running after that ball. We'll see if Seeker can come home. Runners on first and third now with no outs. Salamander steps up to the plate. This could be the tying run. Salamander, a known slugger, if he can put it over the outfield wall, that's suddenly a tie game. They do make the buddy catch. It might be a sacrifice, but that is a cannon arm. Not quite fast enough, and Brown Critter doesn't even try. Instead, it's 1 run, 1 out, 1 on, keeping them 2 runs behind.
I don't know why that pose from Brown Critter was so funny to me. He was just there like... He looked like me when someone tells me to start dancing. Now, with a runner on first, Elric up, knocks it just above Hammer Bro, and puts a runner on first and second. I mean, it's a runner in scoring position, but we're entering batter number 9 for the Monsters. Bolt has turned up big before with good slap hits, but against a star paintball, turns up again, assisted by a boo.
That's going to be good enough to bring at least 1 in, and it does. The other 2 remain on. Bolt converting that into a double. This is down to a 1-run game out of nowhere.
Boo.
Bowser Jr. has got to tighten up his pitching. Again, keep in mind that this has all been Bowser Jr. Cookie gave up like a single, maybe 1 run before she stepped off this inning.
Boo is charging up early. Not a great charge hitter, and proved as Brock snags that one out of the air. Incredible reaction time from the third baseman to not only snag that one, but land directly on third base to end the inning for the Monsters. It's a big one. It reduces the lead down to 1. But with Hammer Bro up next, and we didn't even comment about the fact that Red Pianta Strawberry got brought in to seal up the pitching. A laser beam from Hammer Bro barely stays in the park by inches for a single. So now the third baseman brought up as a relief pitcher in the bottom of the 8th. Bouncer will knock it to Salamander at the shortstop position, but Salamander isn't able to get it up in time to throw out the player at second. No. Has to take the out at first. And who I believe... No, it was Bouncer John Cena who hit home runs, but she hits an excellently aimed shot right up the middle to get a single of her own and put runners on the corners.
And something I want to point out about it being the third baseman, it means that has stepped up here. It means that Bolt will not be returning to the infield where he can best put that magic wand to use. That leaves a defensive gap in the infield for the Monsters that the rookies are trying to take full advantage of now with these loaded bases.
John Cena has already hit a home run this game, but a star hit forces the bobble from Bowser. Thermite catches it for the out, though, and puts us at 2 outs. Loaded bases. Bowser Jr. up to the plate. Can he capitalize?
I think we see a star hit here. At least I know that's what I'm wanting to see in this position from Bowser Jr. He could use it to lock up or lengthen the lead for his team, but instead he just slaps it right over to his dear papa, who gloats a little bit about getting out his son.
Bowser is 100% so far this game in home runs. And if Strawberry or Agaric can get on base and stay on base, Strawberry won't manage it, but if Agaric can get on base, the go-ahead home run could happen in the top of the 9th for the Monsters.
We're seeing another star pitch from Bowser Jr. He doesn't want it to happen. Agaric finds it, but sends it foul. Just throwing a bit of a slider on this one. It'll be reeled in by Hammer Bro. 2 outs, and Bowser Jr. will not face down his dad. He's letting Critter do it, giving it over to the fastball.
Bowser is 100% for home run so far this game and continues that with a laser to right field. We have a tie game in the top of the 9th as Bowser absolutely carries his team through Warrior City to make it 11-11 this late in the game. Now with 2 outs, Seeker and Thermite have not been able to produce very well, but, well, their heroic efforts in the 8th got their team here. A bobble from Bowser Jr.
I think the nerves are getting to the rookie's captain. He's been having a disaster of a game at the plate and now in the field. And even on the mound, quite honestly, The redirection is actually going to save that for the rookies. Sends it right over to when it could have been lost in the field due to that boo.
Red Critter
But
is
it's
up.
Salamander up. Another player who's been great at hitting home runs. He's just going to go for the slap. It's going to get redirected. Someone's going to come in. That is a go-ahead double. It's enough to bring in 2. And the rookies have lost the lead in the 9th after having had it almost the entire game. They have to get out of this situation without another one coming in. We've seen them have bigger innings than this.
A very unexpected result here on Wario City as the Monsters turn up big in the last 2 innings. Now 2 outs, runners on the corner. It's Bolt, who's a great clutch hitter when it matters, but, well, also known to absolutely screw the pooch. It's a hit to the third baseman, and finally, the rookies escape from this inning. Now, if they want to get their pick, if they want to win Wario City Night, they need to copy the performance from the Monsters and in the bottom of the 9th, make up a 2-run deficit. If anyone gets on safely, it'll bring up Hammer Bro later. It's a great spot in their order, but pressure's on.
Brock's going to be the first to try it. Gets a good slap, good fielding position on that. Doesn't fire the POW block. Doesn't need it to reach first. It's a line drive out to center left field. Or left center field. One of those two.
Critter. Well, we've seen home runs for him already this game, and this could be the tying home run. But 2 strikes now from Strawberry. It looks like they'll try inside for strike number 3. Slap.
But another good fielding position. Redirection is going to send it far away from Thermite's glove. A shell's going to delay further. We're going to see at least an RBI triple, and that's what Critter will settle for. Tying run on third with no outs for the rookies. Next up is Cookie.
This is a 13-12 game, and in a mirror of Peach's Ice Garden, the rookies have the tying run on third, no outs. They will see Hammer Bro, who could do a walk-off home run to ice this game, presuming that Cookie doesn't absolutely bomb it here. First pitch is a strike. Second pitch, right across the middle, slap hit, caught up by Salamander. Critter will stay on third, but Salamander throws out Cookie at first.
Good for an out at first, which is what the Monsters need if they want to try and escape here. But you've got your third reliever facing down the Star Slugger Hammer Bro on Wario City. Does Strawberry have what it takes to prevent it? Finds a good out with us, or not out, strike with
That's
slider,
gone.
But it's not enough.
That is absolutely gone.
It is far gone. And that is a walk-off home run from Hammer Bro to secure the game. We're not seeing extra innings this time, as close as it was. That is a one-run win in the bottom of the 9th from the rookies to take the series 1-1 going into DK Jungle Day.
The finals live up to all the hype. Like father, like son, the rookies and the Monsters clutched their first pick back to back, and in a 1-run game decided in inning number 10 and then inning number 9. We have a tied series. MVP honors going to Hammer Bro for an incredible walk-off home run to secure the game. What a match!
What a match indeed, Willie. It has been all over the place. The Monsters got the first lead, lost a huge one, clawed their way back in, and Hammer Bro sealed their fate in the bottom of the 9th. The slugger that has been tormenting the entire league for almost the entire season, even after warming the bench for a little bit, coming back to be the star player and hero of the rookies playoffs.
Well, now, as Bowser puts up gigantic numbers, a 225 scoreline despite trying to carry his team on Wario City, he's absolutely denied by the juggernaut that is Hammer Bro with home run after home run. The rookies are able to put more batters on the bases and able to turn away the monsters at the final, I was going to say the final yard line, but it feels inappropriate to use a football metaphor in the middle of a baseball game. What an incredible performance from both these teams. I think that we can scratch a little bit of playoff anxiety off the bat as both teams are firing on all cylinders, clutching up both their home field games.
And I do want to give a little bit of credit here if you'll go back to the Monsters scoring here.
Yep.
If you'll go back to their box score. I do want to give a bit of credit here to Salamander, absolutely crucial performer in the Monsters for this game, kept their hopes alive throughout with a great batting performance, and just like in Peach's Ice Garden, excellent fielding that helped stop a lot of the rookies' offensive pushes. That player, that red critter, is becoming a nightmare for the rookies in this game, in this series.
These finals are absolutely insane. Both teams proving why they topped the league in the regular season. But with both teams winning their home games, we now get to a little bit down their preference in the order. Our next game in this series, the Monsters have home field advantage on DK Jungle Day. Silver Lily, DK Jungle is a big field, but not that big. How do you feel about both these teams heading into the jungle for game number 3?
I don't think it favors any of them, Willie, at least not at the offset. The earthquakes only happen during the night, right? The seismic plates are weird like that.
Let me get a read on the official description of this stadium. Daytime, cannons in the outfield occasionally shoot barrels that stun players, and flowers in the outfield can stun players, but no, earthquakes only happen at night, so you are correct.
So I think it'll really come down to seeing if the park favors anyone with the barrels here, or if players find themselves tripping over those flowers. It's not the version of the stadium that's known to pick favorites, so I think we're gonna see another pretty equal game, unless like if one team pulls far ahead here, it'll be because they're performing that much better.
Well, we'll have to see exactly what happens. Responsibility, of course, on the Monsters. They've had 2 clutch pitchers come up in Agaric and Strawberry late, but they definitely don't want to get to their 4th pitcher in the outing. At some point, they need to lock this down and turn this into the low-scoring games that they prefer. Meanwhile, the rookies looking more than happy to step on the gas and step over the Monsters. Now I think DK Jungle might be a turning point here, where it's a lot easier for the rookies to play their ball game. Their sluggers are able to hit home runs anywhere, whereas the Monsters might face a little bit more trouble on a wider stadium. We'll have to see which way it goes as we head into game number 3 of this finals, with our series tied at a 1-1 record. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and finals.
And it will be the rookies batting in the top of the first here, as we see our players take their positions on the field. I don't think this is a field that either of these teams have really gone to all that often throughout the season, Willie.
Let me check that. We've got our stats, we've got our schedule up right here as we take a look at it, and Bowser caught out by Bolt in that second base position. Let's see. Well, the rookies opened up their season by losing at DK Jungle 20-1 versus the Musicians in an absolutely huge loss. Salamander just avoiding the ball from Brock. Next that these teams went to DK Jungle was the Monsters taking it over the Bows 17-2. So that's 1 for each. Much more successful for the Monsters, but it was against our 8th seed team of the Bows. And I think you're right, as well, the Monsters ended their regular season winning 1-4 here on DK Jungle Day over the Monarchs, so they have a little bit more experience, but not a lot of experience from either side, as runner on first, runner on second, and Cookie here to set up a play with Hammerbro coming up next.
Just trying to bunt to advance the runners. A good hop from Boo will mean the item support does not allow that bunt to turn into a single. Does Boo even need to hop there? I suppose it does. You think it might be able to just float over it. It'll be 2 on and 2 outs for Hammerbro. This is not an impossible stadium to get home runs in, unlike Peach Ice Garden, which is near impossible, but that line drive is not going to be good enough to do much here. Instead, it'll fall into the glove of Agaric, sends him sliding back and into a barrel, but when that's the 3rd out of the inning, none of that matters.
That is 2 times in a row that the rookies have a chance for Hammerbro to start the game with a 3-run homer, and a little bit of odd batting from the slugger results in, well, a missed opportunity. The Monsters now, though, with Strawberry and Agaric up, Boo and Strawberry both taken out very quickly by the shortstop and second baseman respectively, so Agaric will be the last chance for the Monsters to get on base. Very consistent slap hitter in the Toad. Contact, good for a single.
And I just want to point out that between how similar these two teams' infield are. Now, the rookies did mirror their entire fielding positions going into this game. If they hadn't, what you would have seen from both teams was a critter at shortstop and a infielder that has the capability of reeling in the ball at range at second base. Instead, you see that for the Monsters, and you see the opposite for the rookies, but they're still almost exactly the same infield, just in terms of defensive capabilities.
Well, it all comes down to how those pitching changes happen, as Bowser's line drive is followed up by little success. Seeker hits it right to Hammerbro, who with that hammer throw will make the hammer catch and end the inning. 0-0 scoreline heading into the second now, and the risk that the Monsters run, much larger than the rookies. As excellent as a second baseman as Bolt is, he's responsible as the team's 3rd pitcher, so if they get that deep into the pitching rotation, the infield can become all the weaker, as, well, Bolt isn't able to reel in that shot from Bouncer. With a good hit to center right field, gets a single to start off this inning.
Watches one and swings at the second. It's a good slap up the center, and it'll put 2 on for the rookies again, this time with no outs, instead of the 1 out they had before from Bowser Jr.'s immediate out. Brown critter up. A slugger that could bring at least 1 in if he finds the right ball.
Could bring in 3 if he finds the perfect ball, but 2 quick strikes from Boo. No doubt from Brown Critter, who still goes for the charge hit. It's deep. Agaric doesn't run to left field and watches the hit as Agaric and Elric get confused up in left field and allow a beautiful hit from Brown Critter to start off the scoring with a 3-run homer.
Do you think the sun might have been shining in Agaric's eyes? Why'd he stop dead there?
I am not sure. I believe they would have been able to make that catch, but my guess is that the odd outfield there confused the runners. Elric looked lost, and Agaric was just like, well, if you're not in position, I'm not going to bother tiring myself out just yet. Allowing the 3-run homer from Brown Critter with no outs yet in the inning, as John Cena gets a single and Bowser Jr. comes up to continue the pressure.
Boo starting to tire, and I do need to point out that Agaric has been having a number of these encounters with flowers in the outfield, so he might be a little dazed from that. Bolt reels in Bowser Jr.'s hit and turns it over to Bowser at first base for the double play. It'll help the Monsters try and get out of this inning, but it's not quite over yet because those are still only 2 outs.
question now is how long can Boo last? The star pitcher for the Monsters at least gets himself through the second as Brock hits a line drive right to Bowser at first base for an easy out. But now 3 runs down, and at their 6th batter in the order of Thermite, the Monsters need to start something, and they will not. Critter makes the diving catch, avoids the green shell, and throws out Thermite at first. So Salamander, who turned up big last game, we'll have to see how his first at-bat goes.
Well, it's going to start with a strike looking, and then a foul. Turning over the foul line deep into the left field. And then a line drive out to left that's good enough for a No! Not quite. Most other fielders, that would have been a single. Against Hammer Bro, that is an out for Salamander. Excellent POW block placement here. Allows Edward Elric to reach first on what should have been a routine ground out. But there's still 2 outs, and it's Bolt up at bat. Hits a slap up the center, good ball placement, and the flower is not going to disrupt it, so it's only a single. 1 base advanced for Edward Elric. First and second for the 2 runners. Boo up at bat this time.
Boo is the top of the order, but is a very weak hitter, and he's caught out by Hammer Bro. The only good news for the Monsters is that this means that their next inning will start off pretty well for them, with Strawberry and Agaric, followed up by Bowser, but they have to get through the death lineup for the rookies, as Bowser is brought in early and Boo is not able to turn up as a pitcher in these finals.
That's been the story of the pitching situation for the Monsters. Bowser has been having to come out earlier and earlier into these games. A quick throw from Thermite will bring the ball back into the infield, but he throws it to second. So Critter will be able to make it to first. Cookie hits a long foul. Edward was trying to get in position just in case it fell down for a foul out, but that was way out of the park. Just in the wrong direction.
Agaric again misplays in the outfield, letting Critter run all the way home from first and giving the rookies 4 runs now. It looks like the center fielder may have inhaled a little bit too much of that flower juice, as now the rookies in a very comfortable 4-run lead. Cookie on second, Hammer Bro up next, no outs. And they were running rough shot on DK Jungle Day.
Bowser is going to turn to the star pitches, throwing out bullet bills to try and trip up Hammer Bro. But the second pitch is just a fastball. It is, however, a very high arcing one, and that will be enough for Edward and Agaric to finally make the buddy jump. Syllables that aren't supposed to be there, it's slipping into my words today. Make the buddy jump and lock down Hammer Bro in this inning. Cookie still at second with only 1 out. The rookie's scoring potential is by far still existent.
But Bowser wants no pressure at all from Bouncer, who hit a beautiful home run last game. That's 3 star pitches back to back to back. But again, the question we have to ask is, how self-defeating is this? It boosts the ego of Bowser to get a good strikeout off 3 strong star pitchers, but as he sends out number 4, we saw him come away from the mound very early last game after firing off these cannon shots with his arm. Eventually, he'll settle for a slider that hits nice, but Strawberry is able to make the jumping catch for the out.
The phrase I was looking for there was far from gone, but it's gone now, with some excellent pitching by Bowser and a good jump by Strawberry, locking down the next 2 outs.
Well, Strawberry, Agaric, Bowser. Hell of a batting lineup now for the Monsters, but Strawberry will have to settle for a bobble from John Cena to allow a single from what should have been a routine pop fly out.
Do you think the rookies got some flashbacks in that moment there, Willie?
I was gonna say something, yes, so I'm happy that you said it as well, as John Cena has a little bit more trouble. Pop fly from Agaric, Strawberry might get caught out. No, Strawberry stays at first successfully. I mean,
At least
Bowser.
this time it didn't turn into a home run. It was just a single instead of an out. But whew, that does not look good for John Cena keeping his contract after this season.
Bowser with a line drive to secure himself a single, but with 2 runners on and Seeker, who has not turned up in the playoffs very well, up next. He'll need to find the juice that he did at the end of last game if he wants to make any mark here. Slow runners on first and second is a danger as Critter makes the diving play. The fireball toasts the captain. It means that Seeker reached first and avoids the double play, but it's still an out.
Out is an out, and when it's the second out of the inning, it means that basically anything's going to end it for you. In this case, it is a hammer catch by Hammer Bro over at shortstop to take Thermite down and bring us into the top of the fourth.
This feels like a weird game. The Rookies are up 4-0, but they got it off a terrible misplay in the outfield that allowed this critter, Brown Critter, to score a 3-run homer, as Agaric and Elric goofed up hard in the playoffs. And now the Monsters, well, they face a bit of a home field curse here, as once again the home field team is down, though at least the Rookies didn't get down until the bottom of the 9th in their home field game.
They got down right near the start. The Monsters were the first to score, and they scored 2. Though the Rookies did turn it around immediately and tie it back up in the bottom of that same inning. So it depends on how you look at it. That is a good double play there, secured by Bolt off the bat of who was that?
Ninth batter in the order for Rookies is John Cena, yes.
John Cena. Just not having the performance that he is supposed to be having in a playoff game. But it has been enough following a Bowser Jr. single to tire out Papa Bowser on the mound. Brock is going to make good use of that for his own single to deep right. And we'll see a high slap from Green Critter. Shell comes out, does not stop Agaric from catching it. Instead, hitting fellow outfielder Edward and knocking him over, but that's not going to save your inning. No runs out of the 2 people who are able to get on base.
Salamander starts off this inning with a pop fly to left field. This should be a routine catch to Oh-Ho-Ho. A little bit of extra flash there, using the chemistry to avoid any issues coming up with the bananas, but it's still the first out of the inning. As Elric, batter number 8, comes up, huge green shell, but it's not enough as Critter comes in to save the play and throw Elric out at first.
And we see some good teamwork once again from the infield. Critter moving over to back up Hammer Bro just in case of that item interference, and it's able to make this a quick 3-up, 3-down inning from the Monsters. We're going back to near the midpoint of the Rookies' order in the top of the 5th, starting with Cookie, then Hammer Bro. Cookie's going to ground out, weak grounder that goes under Bowser's legs but is easily fielded by Salamander. Means no one is on for Hammer Bro's performance. Bowser choosing not to throw the star pitch. He's definitely getting tired this inning. Throws it this time. Looking to keep Hammer Bro on his toes. Will he throw a second one to lock it up? Hammer Bro charges up. Bowser does not go for the star pitch, and this is a home run threat. The buddy jump is there in time to take the out. Agaric popping up in the air to prevent the lead from lengthening.
Any hit from Hammer Bro can be an absolute devastating bomb, and I'm sure that, well, Agaric and Thermite are wiping the sweat off their brow as they manage to catch that one out.
Bowser in this game.
Yeah,
Bolt coming in from the infield. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say the same thing you were. Bolt brought in, and, well, pitcher's blessing on the switch allows for a nice out. Remember that back in the CPU Classic 15 years ago? The Rookies go scoreless at the top of the 5th. The Monsters have not been able to find their footing yet at all as they enter the bottom of the 5th versus the Rookies. Boo will need to find some ground, as he has not found very much success at all so far this game. But a weak ground out to Critter at second base is not what the Monsters need when they're so deep in the hole.
Strawberry up. We'll see if he can slap out a single like he's been pretty good at all season. Watches one, slaps the second. It's over to left field. He's gonna try and make it to first, just barely ahead of the throw by Critter.
I honestly think that if had thrown to Hammer Bro, that would have been an out.
That was an out. That was an out.
Agaric with a deep
Agaric
hit.
with
Easy catch. No, bounces off the back wall just out of Brown Critter's range, letting a runner on first, runner on second as Captain Bowser steps up to the plate. He only wants a slap, though, and it'll be a pop right to John Cena in right field for the second out of the inning.
John Cena not bobbling that one, but failed to put on the Jets in the play before that might have made that the third out instead of the second. Brown Critter is able to field the long drive from Seeker before the Bananas find him to keep the Monsters scoreless. 5 scoreless innings now for the Monsters as we go into the top of the 6th.
Remember when I told you that fun stat as Critter is disabled by a shell, allowing to reach base? Remember when I told you that fun stat in the semifinals for the rookies that was the longest that they had gone shut out for? Give me a second. I'm double checking something for the Monsters. No. And actually their last game of the season versus the Monarchs, they didn't score until inning number 7. And they've already proved that they're a clutch team so far in this series, though, as and Critter reach second and third, John Cena comes up to the plate. This is looking bad for Bolt.
A Boo-assisted line drive puts runners in scoring position when Brown Critter hits a double, and that'll be good enough for John Cena to get the RBI off a grounder that leaves him out at first. Another flower disruption safely secures the single for Bowser Jr. with a good hit to center field just past the infield mark. Now it is a 6-run lead and a 4th pitcher for the Monsters. Seeker coming in from first catcher. That's where Seeker is. That's why I never see him out on the field.
Yep.
Seeker coming in from catcher to take the mound, letting up a banana-assisted single to Brock, and now a pop fly by Critter that will not be interrupted by a power block, especially when Agaric and Edward decide to make the buddy jump just to make sure of it.
Excellent play from the rookies to put themselves with the runners on first and second. We should not let that banana item assist to break up the double go unmentioned. But now Cookie faces down 2 outs. If she can get on base and allow Hammerbo to come up in such a dangerous inning, it'll be practically game over for the Monsters. Ground hit, caught by Bowser, 3rd out, saves the inning so far. But 2 more runs in the top of the 6th when you've not been able to respond. The Monsters would need one of the biggest comebacks of the season if they want to make it back in this game. And Thermite will have to start that off, who has been pretty cold so far.
Watches one, slaps the second, but slaps it too far, right into the glove of left fielder. To bring up Salamander now with 1 out.
Cookie, it should be mentioned, still batting strong in the bottom of the 6th. Pitching woes for the Monsters not at all echoed by the rookies, and as Salamander hits a deep... Well, John Cena is there to clean up possible disruption from the shell, and now it's Edward Elric up with 2 outs, and if the Monsters go scoreless through the 6th, this was their pick. And just like that, Elric caught out by Hammerbro.
You know, Willie, normally when they talk about triple coverage, they're talking about football. Here we saw 3 outfielders standing under the same ball. 2 of them get hit by shells, and the 3rd one reels it in.
I'm sorry that I should have I should have sensed that you had such a... Oh, God, a bomb of a joke and a bomb of a hit from Hammer Bro to extend this lead to 7 in the 7th. Hammer Bro finally pulls through and is the slugger to knock a clean shot right out of DK Jungle Day. And the Monsters now getting embarrassed on their home pick.
They might be the first team in this series to drop their home pick stadium. Bowser trying to keep things from getting any worse by fielding that slap there. Brings up to bat with 1 out, nobody on. Chill hit it over to third base where Salamander makes a quick jump, or not Salamander, Strawberry makes a quick jump to grab it. Now I'm getting the players' nicknames mixed up.
Brown
Critter, however, looks to put it over the wall. Does not make it. The buddy jump from Thermite and Agaric locks it down to make this a 4-up, 3-down, 1-run inning from the rookies. But that's a 7-run lead that the Monsters now have to try and fight their way through.
They need just anything, as they are in batter number 9 of their order. Bolt versus Cookie, who has not even started to tire, and when the team needs him most, he vanishes, specifically into the glove of Brock at third base.
Cookie, one of the only players to pitch a complete game during the regular season, might be the first to do so in the playoffs. Tato over at the Musicians having been unable to do so in their games against the Flowers.
Already 2 out. A big line drive from Strawberry will at least be a base hit for a single. But unless Agaric can get on base and unless Bowser can knock it out of the park, the Monsters are in deep, deep trouble here. Agaric with a good hit, but Brown Critter just barely misses the catch, actually. A little bit of trouble getting a grip on it.
Park there. Strawberry doesn't have the speed to make that an RBI single, not all the way from first, but it does put runners on the corners for Captain Bowser. If he can do what Hammer Bro's done and put it over the wall, but a high ball like that, it's got to be high enough to escape the glove of Brown Critter, and it is. But Bowser calling Hammer Bro out, saying this time I'm the one with runners on. But Hammer Bro probably chuckling from his 4-run lead still.
I should speak stuff into existence more often. I should stop doubting these Monsters players, as Seeker ends the inning, as he is known to, with a quick pop to Critter at the second base position. But a big home run for the Monsters cuts the lead down to 4 and makes this game playable. They're still deep in the hole, but it's a playable game for them, as they're now down only 4 instead of the big 7. But again, they've got their 4th pitcher on the mound, and as soon as Seeker, the Red Koopa, starts to tire, it's even bigger woes for the pitching rotation, as he's never played anything besides catcher, and he'll be brought onto the outfield. But Bowser turns the double play off Bowser Jr.
Didn't Seeker used to play second base for the Monsters near the beginning of the season?
You're right. You know the Monsters better than I do. Seeker did actually start off on second base and got moved to the catcher position. I think he played shortstop. I forgot how much I love. Is the flyer
going to be enough here? It is. Brock will find a single on it and put another on after Bowser fields a double play to erase the earlier hit.
Big line drive from Critter finds its way to the outfield for a single. Technically, if the Monsters can get an out here against Cookie, they're set up great, because Hammer Bro will be forced to go on with no runners on. But if Cookie gets a base hit here and puts 3 on for Hammer Bro, that 3-run homer from Bowser could have its efficacy erased. Well, the coin flips, and Cookie knocks it straight to Strawberry at third base for the out, and now the Monsters, down 4, need at least 2 this inning to set a pace to tie the game. But with Thermite, who has been so quiet so far, grounding out 2 Critter at second base, well, it's not looking great for them. Salamander now steps up.
The big importance of... Oh, I'm going to
Deep
shut up for
hit.
a moment as we're seeing a long ball. It's not quite enough from Salamander. Say shut up as I continue to cast. Making the buddy jump with Brown Critter's aid to prevent that score there. What I was going to say, the big importance to Bowser's 3-run home run and it cutting down the lead to 4 is it means that it is possible to erase all of it in a single at-bat if the bases are loaded. 1 grand slam is all it takes versus needing multiple strong hits in order to do it. However, the rookies completely lock down the offense. Despite a couple of attempts at long balls from the monsters, buddy jumps from and Brown Critter happen back to prevent any home runs, and the monsters are kept scoreless in the inning once again. 7 out of 8 innings they've played. Nothing for production.
Well, if they want a chance to clutch up in the bottom of the 7th, or the bottom of the 9th, they'll need to start by shutting down the rookies, and at least Hammer Bro is able to produce with a beautiful single, knocking it right down the middle almost exactly. All the way out to the wall. Now Bouncer up. Tries to copy it with a shot to sink down the middle, but instead of being deep, it's a little bit more shallow, and it allows a runner on first, a runner on second as steps up.
Now, Brown Critter not quite the slugger that Hammer Bro is, but bases loaded, no outs against Brown Critter is not a situation I would want to be in if I'm the monsters, and makes sure it is the situation they're in.
We should
Good
expect
hit out to left.
Unless this is caught by Strawberry, no matter where Critter hits it, it should be a runner in. With 2 strikes now, the curveball down the middle, it's perfectly aimed to center right, and that'll be more than 1 runner in, as Bananas...
1 in, 2 in. Stays at third. The Banana's not really doing too much to disrupt here because of the buddy throw. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, Seeker now against John Cena. Salamander catches that ball and throws it to first to turn the double play. So now the monsters down 6th in the 9th need to avoid that from turning back to a 7-run lead that the rookies had earlier. Captain Bowser Jr. with a chance to get that run back, but no, he'll hit it to right field. Thermite makes the catch, and now it's up to the monsters. They're down 6 runs. They were only able to do 3 in the bottom of the 9th, game 1, to win their first home game. Can they double that performance against Cookie, who hasn't even started to tire? Or will they be shut down by the rookies, and the rookies will take DK Jungle? Bolt immediately slaps it to Salamander for the first out.
Cookie reaching for her first star pitch of the game against Bolt. It's good for a strike, and then Bolt hits that out, as you were saying. Boo up now, and it is a very rough starting part of the lineup for the monsters if they wanted to make it back in, because now they have to score 6 with 2 outs.
Strawberry charges, desperation hit, goes deep, but it's not very fast, and as and Brown Critter get under that, the rookies seal up game number 3, defeating the monsters in a brutal 9-3 scoreline. We won't see a last inning comeback this time. We'll see the rookies clean it up and secure a 2-1 series lead over the monsters.
And Cookie fans in the audience go wild as Cookie pitches the first complete game of the playoffs, of the postseason, and it's in game 3 of the finals. In the opposing team's home stadium pick for game 3, she pitches 9 innings, 8 scoreless. An incredibly impressive performance from her.
I think that this is a showcase of why the rookies are the team to beat. While big slugging can help you on stadiums like Wario City, turns out that when you have such a horrifyingly consistent bat lineup all the way down the roster. 5 jerseys: Brown Critter, Bowser Jr., and of course the Starred Slugger Hammerbro. When you have an average game of baseball, turns out that while the Monsters have plenty of weaknesses in their batting rotation, they've got Bolt, they've got Boo, they've got Red Koopa. No weaknesses for the rookies means that they can just keep on the gas the whole game. And whereas an odd first 2 stadiums in Peach's Ice Garden and Warrior City let the Monsters keep it close, as soon as we go to somewhere a little bit more traditional, DK Jungle, the rookies absolutely run away with it and keep absolutely dominant throughout the entire game to secure themselves that 2-1 lead. Now, should be said, it's only one game of baseball, and the stats can always tell a different story, as Brown Critter, with that go-ahead 3-run homer at the start of the game, absolutely ices away the MVP record for DK Jungle Day.
And just quiet bats across the scoreboard from the Monsters this game. 5 players scored automatically by our electronic system with a 0 in batting. It was heroic performances by Strawberry, Agaric, and Bowser that got them on the scoreline at all, and nobody else even came close to mirroring that.
Well, now responsibility comes up to the Monsters. While we praise them so much in their series against the Spitballs for being a very consistent team, well, we see what consistency looks like. We see what these jerseys look like. No one going scoreless in the batting category for the rookies. Well, like you said, 5, including Salamander, the big hitter, producing nothing for their team, means that it's up to the Monsters to find that batting power. Could it be that swapping up the order so much never let these players really find a comfortable spot in their lineup? If they want anything, they're going to have to find it on game number 4, while the rookies get home field advantage on the Nightmare Park that the Monsters have avoided as much as they can. We're heading to Yoshi Park for game number 4, and possibly, if the rookies nail it, the last game of the finals.
Now, I will say, Willie, looking at those scores there, well, it is true. You keep pointing out the 5 jerseys with decent batting. On the rookie side, the Monsters have 2 of their own, and their 2 were some of the players that came up with no scoring in the batting category.
You can explain that while I sprint off to the bathroom before game number 4. I'll be right back.
For those at home, the jerseys are what we've been calling the me players, because they're out there in jerseys where, like actual baseball uniforms, whereas every other player, we're lucky if half of them are wearing anything at all. If you take a look at even just the Monsters here, Boo doesn't wear clothing, he's a ghost. Pianta's got a skirt made of leaves, Toad has a vest and some shorts, Bowser's got like a choker, I guess. I think Koopa is wearing shoes, and the Critters wear shorts. And then we've got some wizard robes over on Magic Koopa. So, like, there is no consistency, no outfit coordination between these teams, and the jerseys are doing the best they can in that regard. Are shells clothes? Are turtles wearing clothing? That's a great question. The jerseys are doing the best they can in that regard with at least color coordination, but they are very middle-of-the-pack players in basically every category. We've seen them shine, especially in pitching and fielding, but when it comes to batting, they tend to have average to bad performances with occasional blowouts, some occasional absolute stellar plays. But for example, I think we've seen maybe 2-3 jerseys hit a home run the entire game. Usually they're good for a single or a ground out. So while they add a lot of consistency to this rookies lineup, and every team, almost every team in the league, had at least one on their roster, most teams having 2, the rookies at the higher end with 5, and the Monarchs, the 4th seed team that went out in the quarterfinals, having none. Batting isn't normally the place they perform. I really want to give the credit to the rookies' offense to the sluggers, the Critter, Brown Critter, and Hammer Bro, for their performances, and I think a lot of analysis. I tried to say analysts and analysis at the same time. Those 2 words are pronounced differently despite having the same root.
All right. Do you need anything?
Analysis doesn't sound right.
Do you need anything before we head into game number 4?
I think I am fine right now, Willie, but if we go to a game 5, I want to grab a glass of water. So I want to say what the jerseys do most for these rookies is they set up multi-run home runs. They usually get on first, sometimes on second, and then a slugger brings them home.
Yeah. Fair play, fair analysis. I mean, it's very hard when you've got that level of consistency across your batting lineup to stop. We saw trouble for the Monsters in the game in Warrior City, where many bombs were hit, but they were solo shots, even though I think, to be fair, the rookies, I think, hit more home runs, including more single shots, but we'll have to go back and tally up the scoreboard in order to find that out.
We saw some of our few Jersey home runs in that game, finding just the right spot in the outfield to hit over to.
Well, we're about to head into Yoshi Park, a chaotic field, though on the daytime it'll be slightly less chaotic. No piranha plants to interfere, but still a train to possibly disrupt outfield plays and allow big sluggers to take big runs. Can Bowser and Salamander come back and make their mark as offensive powerhouses, or will the offense from the rookies bowl over the Monsters in game number 4 and secure them the championship in season number 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy? Lifeline for the Monsters, the cusp of victory for the rookies as we head into Yoshi Park. How absolutely beautiful it would be if it all ends here for the Monsters. Their perfect win streak to start off this season ended on Yoshi Park. Will their entire season end the same way? As Boo steps up to start the batting.
This strike looking from the first pitch by Cookie.
It should also be stated, by the way, that the rookies and the Monsters played here. The Monsters won by 1 run because of the play of all time, a bobbled catch in left field that bounced over the fence and turned into a 2-run homer. So despite...
for those in the audience who did not see it, that catch, that was a routine pop fly out to John Cena in left field, which is where he normally played this season, that bounced out of his glove and over the wall and turned into a 2-run home run in a game
of 2-run
that
homers,
ended with a 1-point difference. Speaking of 2-run home runs, yeah,
Bowser absolutely drills a shot, and the captain returns to his previous batting performance, knocking Agaric into home off a beautiful deep hit to left field. That means that the Monsters start off their offense way earlier in this game after going pretty cold on DK Jungle. The question is whether they can keep it up, and with batters like Seeker, well, regularly knocking it right to the second baseman Critter, we'll have to see exactly what happens.
Seeker is... I know it's a little late in the season, being game 4 of the playoffs for this analysis, but I feel like Seeker is in a really interesting spot for his team. Doesn't have the best batting performances, and used to be on the field, was a defensive specialist, but is now over at catcher, mostly serving to provide a little extra chemistry on throws back to home when they need that extra speed from like the jerseys in the outfield. And I'm wondering if that's a point of improvement for the Monsters, if we see them again next season, if we see a lineup similar to this one, if Seeker will remain on the team, if Seeker will remain on the field at all, or find his way to the bench with the rest of the Koopas.
Brock knocks away a single, and Critter looks to repeat the success that the Monsters had with a second shot, but no. Agaric and Thermite catch that one out in right field and stop the tying 2-run homer. That does mean, well, there's still an opportunity for the Rookies to do more than win. They could go ahead here. If Cookie manages a base hit, it'll set up 2 runners on for Hammerbro. And when Bowser started off this game with a home run, well, I'm sure Hammerbro would love to retaliate with one of his own. Boo pressures on. Second pitch. Beautiful hit by Cookie. Center.
That reliable single hit. Foil of many teams in the league that's been enough to drive so much small ball, so much base loading for sluggers. I'd almost find that as the defining hit of the league.
Oh,
that will be a fair ball by Hammerbro. It was a line drive that looked like it might clear, but it just barely hit near the top of the fence, and it will be bases loaded, but 2 outs for Bouncer. Can he bring anyone in? Star pitch from Boo. He's gonna find it, but he finds it, sending it right over to Bowser at first base, and that will end the inning. Monsters hold the Rookies scoreless here at the beginning of our game in Yoshi Park.
The difference of an inch is what stops the Rookies from pulling. We gotta hype up these plays more. The difference of an inch is what stops the Rookies from pulling away with a 3-run homer, an absolute beamer from Hammerbro. Meanwhile, Thermite finally touches a base in this series. Well, it's not the first time this series, but it's the first time in a while. Sorry?
I think it was the first to touch a base for the Monsters this series. But yeah, it must be stressed how incredibly close we were to seeing a go-ahead 3-run home run from Hammerbro. It hit just below the top of the fence.
Now, Brown Critter and John Cena able to reach that home run attempt from Salamander by an inch and pull. Brown Critter's dead in the outfield. Pull that one in. Just a bare. This is a game of inches. It's so close. Each and every play is home run shot after home run shot is denied. It's only 2-0. Elric's going for a bunt. He has item support.
Maybe he should hit the ball by inches off that bunt. Item support might have given him a run to first base. It does secure the run to second for Thermite, but when the green shell also hits your runner, you're not going to get anything other than an out from that.
Now it's Bolt, batter number 9 in the order for the Monsters. Slaps it right up the middle, but Hammerbro reels it in as he is known to do and stops the inning. The Monsters have successfully made it through all 9 batters. But, well, unless the Rookies actually get 3 up, 3 out here, they'll make it further. And a stat that I like to at least pay attention to is just the number of batters seeing play. It's a good sign for the Rookies, even if they're down 2-0, that they have seen, if they don't get denied here, more batters, or at least an equivalent number of batters to the Monsters. More chances, more opportunities. Big boo from Brown Critter. Will this allow to run home? Yes, it will. No buddy play available as Thermite's out in right field, and that means it's an RBI double.
And you are absolutely right on amount of batters that get onto base being a good sign while not necessarily actually winning you the game. It's kind of like, for our football fans, it's kind of like possession time. If a team has the ball 60% of the game, they're generally doing better even if the score is 0-0.
A very slow fastball down the middle by Boo. Brown Critter, scared of getting picked off at third, runs back. I'm not sure if he thought that was going to be actually caught, but it means we have a runner on first, a runner on second, no outs yet against the Rookies, and as the captain steps up, Bolt reels in the throw, turns it to Salamander. Salamander throws it to to Bowser at first to catch out John Cena. And just like that, a huge play from the Monsters turns the triple play and shuts down the Rookies. They'll score 1 in this inning, but the Monsters will, by the skin of their teeth, hold on to the lead.
That's the kind of plays they're going to need to continue to make if they want to stay alive in this series. Plays like Boo's there, where he hits a weak grounder out to center field with a diving catch by Critter to throw it over to first and get the out. That is not what they're looking for.
Well, a Critter bobble will allow Strawberry to reach first. Maybe.
I was thinking we were going to see the same thing twice in a row, but a rare defensive mistake from Critter means Strawberry reaches first.
Agaric now, very consistent slap hitter, but wants the charge. His first attempt will go foul. Very slow out there. 2 strikes on. We expect batters to go for slaps here, and he does. He has no item support, though, and the pop fly will easily be caught out by Hammerbro. Now, whereas last
can
time...
of corn on that one, or maybe it's a can of creamed mushroom, as it's Agaric that has to go back to the dugout after that.
I hope Bowser hits a home run just so that I can stare at you in silence.
Well, you might just see it, Willie, as the train is coming in to intercept this buddy catch, but it will not do it in time. Brown Critter locks it down, so you don't get to stare at me in silence. Not like that.
No, I get to stare at the floor in silence as John Cena and Brown Critter turn an amazing defensive play to shut down the second attempt at a 2-run homer from the Monsters, and they're kept scoreless at the top of the third. They do still have that 1-run lead, but with the death section of the Rookies' batting order coming up, 1 run isn't much at all. Brock, he'll get caught out by Bowser at first base for the first out of this inning.
It'll put Critter up at bat. 1 out, nobody on. Boo still holding strong for longer than he had been in previous games. The train timing, and Agaric chooses to stop running to check and see if Thermite's okay. Thermite is, but the team is not, as that'll turn an easy fly out into a double for Critter and put 1 on. Meaning we are guaranteed to see Hammerbro unless Cookie hits into a double play.
Which, with a runner on second, is very hard. Bolt will catch her out at first base, but, well, despite Bowser friendly checking Seeker at home plate, Hammerbro now, with a runner on third, chance for an RBI to tie the game or big home run off a tired Boo to go ahead. Hits it deep, hits it high, hits it fast. There's no way they're catching that one. That's a go-ahead home run as Hammerbro slams it out of the park and gives the Rookies a 1-run lead.
Hammerbro finding the play he was denied by inches on his last at-bat, taking a 3-2 lead over the Monsters, and now Boo finally steps off the mound, this time in the bottom of the third with 2 outs. A better performance than he's had in their previous games, but still continuing the pitching woes for the Monsters. And an immediate bobble by Boo at first plate turns what should have been the end of the inning into a single for Bouncer.
I think the god of luck is trying to help out the Rookies as much as they can after being denied that big 3-run bomb at the first inning. Immediate series of misplays by the Monsters allow them to score 2 big runs and take the lead. Now, frustration on the face of Bowser as he knows that this is his team's life or death game, and Seekers leading off the top of the fourth by doing what he always does and grounding out to Critter at second base. Seeker's not a bad hitter. He's not supposed to be a bad hitter. He's supposed to be very consistent. But, well, while Thermite finally turns a little bit better with a good single up the middle, Seeker's quietness means there's only 1 runner on for Salamander, who could hit a big home run and take the lead here, but he watches the first pitch. Second pitch from Cookie. Fastball down the middle, caught by Salamander, but with no speed on it. This should be an easy pop fly catch for Brown Critter. And that's exactly what happens.
already passed by, so there was no hope of disruption, especially with a bomb item, barely better than no item for the Monsters. And Edward Elric will hit a line drive right out to Brown Critter to end the inning. Monsters go scoreless for the third inning in a row. We bring up Brown Critter, hero of the last inning, or of the last half inning, at that.
He's charging early. He wants a deep hit, but Bowser knows how bad he wants it. Fires off with a fiery fastball and then a bullet bill ball to guarantee 2 strikes, and the inside fastball caught by Brown Critter, but flies right to Thermite in right field for the clean catch in the first out.
John Cena up at bat now. He's going to swing at the first, but swings shallow as the fastball, the angled fastball from Bowser catches him unaware. He will find the second pitch, but that will be a fly out to right field over to Thermite, and it's Bowser Jr. taking a slap. This is why we do not have enough time to hype up plays, Willie. This game moves so fast in Galaxy League that I barely had time to cast Bowser Jr. getting a single off a hit to right of center.
Well, now 2
Brock's
strikes,
now
2
fouling out
outs.
his bat.
Slider from Brock caught, but the boo makes sure that Elric is not able to get under it. Chance for Bowser to run home. No, he stays at third. It's just a double from Brock, and with Critter stepping up, 2 runners on, deep charge, good contact, center field. Agaric snags it, but Brock is running home, and Brock will touch home off the weak throw all the way to home base. That means that single from Critter nets 2 RBIs and gives the rookies a 3-run lead.
Now it's Cookie back up. This has been a 2-run, 2-out rally so far, and we still have a runner on base. If Cookie can get on, guess who's up at bat again? It's Hammer Bro. Bowser doesn't want to see that. He's going to throw the star pitch to lock down the strikeout and get his team out of the inning before that Star Slugger has any chance of getting up to the plate.
Still, not a good section of the Monsters lineup. Bolt, batter number 9, up to deal some damage to these rookies. Cookie is still held on, and she's had a beautiful batting performance in these playoffs. And the pop from Bolt does net a single as it lands in shallow center. Next up is Boo, who will have to do it with no item support at the start of this batting order. Good charge contact, but Brock easily catches it out and turns it to Bouncer for the double play. If the Monsters want anything, it'll have to be off the bats of Strawberry, Agaric, and Bowser back to back to back. Strawberry barely reaches first. Slow running, but still the slap is enough, so Agaric here with a single could set up the captain. Slap hit to left field, too shallow for to catch it, and that is a single. Runners on first, runner on second. Bowser now, a home run here, ties the game against Cookie.
Line run at the plate. Top of the 5th. We could see it go 5-5. He's charging it. It's a line drive, but it's a line drive out to left field where is standing in the perfect spot to catch it. That will be a 3rd out and no runs, a 4th scoreless inning in a row for the Monsters.
It's going from bad to worse now as Bowser needs to find his way past a possible easy bomb hit from Hammer Bro. Outside fastball caught. It's deep. The train is in the way, blocking Agaric, and it stays in the park again. Another attempt from Hammer Bro barely stays in. It's good enough for double,
by
though.
Inches. The train was enough to prevent a buddy catch out, and it does mean that Hammer Bro found second there. So when Bouncer hits a single, there's now runners on the corners. But you have to imagine Hammer Bro is frustrated at all of the could-have-been home runs he's had this game.
Well, he's not going to be too frustrated if his team manages to win it, of course. Bowser catches 2 strikes and third one, fastball down the middle. Well, Bolt will turn the double play, but Hammer Bro will run home to give the rookies a 4-run lead. Batter number 8, Brown Critter, wants to turn it into a 5-run lead with a big hit, but with the train passing early, Agaric in the spot he needs to be. The catch stops the rookies, but while the rookies have scored every single inning since the first, the Monsters have been quiet since then. And if they want any chance to get back in this game, they've got 4 at-bats, 4 innings of batting left, and with Seeker grounding out to Hammerbro, well, this is looking like a suffocating case of offense from the rookies yet again, unless a big boo from Thermite can get a runner in position. He'll get a single.
This brings Salamander up, one of the players you're hoping to see from the Monsters right now. Possible home run here. He's going to charge on the second pitch and hit it. It will go far, but it will not go far enough to be an out. Instead, it's just a long single out to right center. It will advance Thermite all the way to third. Runner in scoring position now for Edward Elric. A double play could prevent that, however. The double play is not achieved. Instead, Edward goes out at first as Thermite runs home. Salamander putting on the Jets to make it the second and prevent a double play just to guarantee his team gets a run in this inning. But a run is all they're good for as Bolt hits a routine grounder out to Critter.
That does mean that the Monsters will be back at the top of their order, but down by 3, well, 1 run an inning is the pace they need to be at if they keep the rookies scoreless, and a good single from John Cena will mean that they start off the bottom of the 6th pretty cleanly. Bowser Jr. charging early against his dad, feeling confident in this game, but Bowser reminds Jr. exactly where he is with a star pitch. Second pitch, inside fastball, caught by Bowser Jr., big pop fly, but Agaric is under that, there's no item support, and that's the first out of the inning.
Train far away. Yeah, you have to wonder if Bowser Jr.'s batting performance would be better if he had a little chemistry backing him up. Instead, he's kind of left out to dry in their batting order, but the rookies don't really need him to get their wins.
Bowser is starting to tire. Brock hits a beautiful line drive out to left field. The boo and the train interfering with Agaric and Salamander. That just means that Brock's hit turns into a triple as John Cena runs all the way home and gives the rookies back their 4-run lead.
It'll now take a grand slam from the Monsters to tie it. A situation they've been in before, and that's if Brock, having run all the way to third, doesn't find his way home before the end of the inning.
Bowser pulled off in the bottom of the 6th, and the Monsters' pitching woes in the playoffs and the finals continue as Bolt is brought in against Critter. They'll need to find a big pitching performance here, or at least force some bad swings from Critter as they're charging early. Slow ball down the middle, caught out by Strawberry. Brock doesn't feel the confidence to run, and it's at least a ground out that keeps the runner at third now. Cookie, responsibility to bring that runner in, slaps it. Perfect aim.
That will be enough. That center field slap single puts her on first and puts Brock at home. 5-run lead means the rookies are now away from losing it all in a single play.
Unless the Monsters have a gigantic resurgence in the last 3 innings, they have barely scored through 6. The rookies have scored every single inning except the first. It would take a miracle turnaround at this point for the Monsters to get back into this game and stop themselves from being eliminated. Well, big slap from Boo for a single at the top of the batting order. Gets something going in the 7th, but Cookie is starting to tire. Could also be mediocre news for the Monsters as Bowser Jr. would be up next after her. Strawberry watches the first pitch.
You can't blame Cookie for getting tired. She's pitched like 20, 30-something innings in 4 games.
Well, that's exactly... Go ahead.
That fly out to John Cena is her stopping point for the game, is what I was going to say. It sounds like you were saying something similar.
Yeah, basically, as Agaric sees through the star pitch and lands a good slap. This is really where the Monsters comeback has to start. Bowser needs to come up big against his son. The paintball throw from Bowser Jr. Bowser charges, but, well, doesn't watch. He can't see the ball at all as it goes past him. Big hit, though, deep, fast,
That's
high.
out.
The 3-run homer from Bowser, trying to will his team back into this game, reduces the lead from 5 to 2. It's something.
But it means we're also through the biggest threats of this Monsters batting order. They've got a decent part of the lineup up next, starting with Seeker, able to make some production this time with a long single out to right field.
Top of the 7th
Keeps
now.
the team in, 1 on, 1 out, 3 having come home. But a bad hit from Thermite will be reeled in by Hammer Bro and sent flying back to first for a double play to end the inning. That means when the Monsters come back up in the top of the 8th, they'll be at the bottom of their order.
Well, responsibility will be on them to score those last 2 runs, assuming they can do what they haven't been able to since the start of the game and silence the rookies. Bouncer up against Bolt, slaps it to the first baseman, and Boo keeps his glove on it this time for the first out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Up next, with a good chance to put a runner on for Brown Critter, but no. She pops it right to Salamander for the second out.
Brown Critter up at bat, standing alone. His prior 2 batting teammates having both gotten out right before him. Star pitch from Bolt is gonna try and catch him, but he finds it, and he finds it for yard, hitting the top of the train fences. Agaric was nowhere near there in time, especially with Ed getting hit by the train on its way out of the tunnel.
No team could catch that one, and that means that the rookies get to a very, very nice score line and a 3-run lead here in the bottom of the 7th. The Monsters, again, cannot stop this team from marching through to a possible championship victory. John Cena will end the inning with a pop fly to Thermite in right field, but still, it's not just up to the Monsters to score, they need to stop the rookies. We talked going into this consistency all the way down the rookies' batting order. And, well, they've scored at least 1 or 2 every single inning. No big flashy plays, well, a couple. No less big flashy plays, like Salamander here, barely hitting it foul to stop a big home run. But with 2 strikes on, he goes for another big hit. The line drive falls just shallow of and lets him get a single. Elric now nods.
I want to point out that this has been the rookies' first real they can't stop us from scoring game in the playoffs. In their games against the Flowers, they were often kept scoreless through most innings, with just a couple of big explosive innings being enough to carry them over the line. This is the first game they've played today where they've only had, or not just today, this entire postseason, where they've not had more than 1 scoreless inning.
Well, now, as Bolt reaches, we are back to the top of the order, and Boo, 2 outs on him. If the Monsters want anything this inning, it'll have to come off both Bolt and Boo, the 9th batter and the first one in the order, both hitting singles. So if Strawberry wants to keep this inning going, they'll have to navigate this rookie's defense. Slider, slapped, finds solid ground, and that means that the Monsters, barely with Strawberry reaching first, have actually loaded the bases. Agaric is a very consistent slap hitter, and he'll need to turn up now in the top of the 8th, or will the Monsters walk away with nothing? First pitch is a strike. Second pitch from Bowser Jr. Star pitch, very smart play.
Bases loaded guarantees a run on any hit, but also an out at any base.
Agaric needs to hit
2
through a star
out
pitch.
means that'll be enough to end the inning. Agaric hits the star pitch with a star hit, but it goes too far, and there will be an out at no bases as Brown Critter sliding back with it in his glove ends the inning for the Monsters and keeps them scoreless one more time.
The
Bowser
Monsters,
Jr. starting to tire on the mound, but he's only got one more inning to make it through if his team keeps the performance up.
the Monsters need a miracle. Bowser is up in the top of the ninth first, so even if he hits a home run, it'll be a solo shot bomb. Bolt starting to tire at the bottom of the eighth when they really need to shut down this rookie's offense. The Monsters need a miracle, or else they are out and the rookies will be your champions. A good hit from Brock with the boo assistance. The rookies want to keep piling on the points as Bolt is taken off, and our fourth pitcher for the Monsters is Salamander from shortstop. This does mean that Bolt gets back into a shortstop position, which means that access to that magic wand again, but as the train comes, the ball lands just past it, but the POW block hits in time to stop the catch. And again, disaster for the Monsters. When they need a miracle, they are shut down. Cookie now. Runners on first, runners on second. She'll ground out to Bowser, who throws too early. What the? Into a pipe.
A star player error. A star player error in such a desperate situation. That could have been a double play to finally hand the rookies a scoreless inning for the first time since the first inning.
Good night to this game. Shot from Hammer Bro way over the head of Thermite. That is a grand slam. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4. What are we at this point? 7-run
That'll be
lead.
a 7-run lead as the game moves to 6-13. Bowser's frustrations with his team getting the better of him and putting him out of sync with his own infielders, leading to bases loaded disaster when Hammer Bro comes up to the plate. And I don't think the Monsters have it in them to even tie this game back up heading into the in the top of the ninth. And even if they did, they'd have to find a way to keep the rookies scoreless, which they've been unable to do since the first.
Salamander getting frustrated, starting to tire out. Another runner in scoring position as Brown Critter steps up and knocks a big line drive out to center. The boo means that the runner will touch home. Another big double from the rookies as they pull ahead to an 8-run lead. Salamander taken off the mound. Elric pulled in from the outfield means there's no chemistry in left field anymore. John Cena, the next batter up. 2 outs, 1 strike, charges contact. Beautiful hit to right field, but it's caught out by Thermite at his toes. And now, you said it before, 3 outs. The Monsters need a miracle. Now they need God himself to descend from the heavens to hand them this game. Bowser wants to go out swinging, but that is not enough. Line drive to center for a single.
Things were looking tough but doable when there was a 3-run lead. They're looking nigh impossible with an 8-run lead. Brock will come off of third base to pitch as the last reliever for the
Bowser.
rookies. A little bit of chaos there. Everyone a little out of position due to that weird bunt and the shell. Good choice by Seeker and some rough fielding by the rookies. Does put 2 on, but they're going to need a lot more than 2 runs if they want to bring this one back. To remain on after the hit by Thermite advances the runners, but does find him out at first with a reel-in catch by Hammer Bro.
Bad base running. Okay, bases are loaded.
Chooses not to advance, but there is no punishment for it when, again, out of sync with the rest of his team.
Elric now, bases loaded, 1 out, slaps it, but it's right into the glove of Critter, who turns the double play, and just like that, Critter and Hammer Bro, the infield that can't be stopped, the batters that can't be stopped, the rookies do it in 4, win the Yoshi Park game 6-14, and are your Grand Slam Galaxy Season 1 champions!
And after such a close start to the series, both games being won by 1 run. The first one by the Monsters in 10, and the second by the Rookies in 9. The Rookies pull away, and Bowser Jr. proves to his dad that maybe he ain't the best slugger in the game. Maybe he's not the one that does it by himself, but he knows how to build a team who can carry him there.
Hammer Bro, the slugger that the Rookies needed, shows up big and gets MVP honors. The Monsters are completely unable, collapsing in Game 4, and the Rookies run roughshod. Despite a rough Game 1, despite a need for a comeback on Game 2, Game 3 and Game 4 are as convincing as you need them to be. And off the back of an MVP performance from Hammer Bro, they do it in 3. The season ends, and the Rookies are your Grand Slam Galaxy Season 1 champions.
A congratulations to them, the definition of a rookie team. Had a horrible performance in their first game of the season. They lost that one to the Musicians 20-1. 20-1. Restructured their team, turned it all around. Bowser Jr., having come from the disastrous Winter CPU Classic Flowers, builds his own team, and with a little bit of work, finds the best success you can ask for as a team captain. An incredible season by the Rookies. Credit to both of these teams. And everyone that made it to the playoffs.
Absolutely beautiful performance. We'll hand flowers to the losers, the Monsters, who looked like absolute monsters during the regular season. Eliminated, they take it to Game 4, but are not able to survive into Game 5, as Yoshi Park, which was their first stumbling block, is the end of their season. Much better performance across the board for them, as all players turn up in the batting score box, but unfortunately for them, inconsistency strikes them. Bad hits, an inability to convert, and just good attempts from the Sluggers to turn it back turn to nothing, and those low-scoring games that they're known to pull out for the victory are not enough in the finals. We're joined now by, I'll go ahead and call it what it is, the general manager for the Rookies, Kai Bean, joins us now on the call. Kai, congratulations to your team for the huge victory here in the finals.
Thank you so much, Willie.
My sincerest apologies to you, Kai, because I will now have to be stepping away from this broadcast.
No
but
worries.
Please, give us your team's victory speech, and I will make sure to watch it in post. Your team did excellent out there today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the kind words. I cannot overstate my joy at this day. Coming into the end of the season, just behind the Monsters ahead. I desperately wanted the team to make it to the #1 spot, but we just missed out on those 4 runs that were mentioned at the top of the broadcast. And yet, through the end of the playoffs, the Rookies have shown their strength, their resiliency, their power, and I couldn't be more proud of their performances today.
Kai, what do you have to say after turning your team around? A rough start to the season, some smart trades, some smart rebalancing, and then absolutely crushing it through the second half of the season. What did your team need, really, or what do you attribute this amazing turnaround from a dominant Rookie squad?
It's about organization, knowing your players' strengths, where they fit together with the other players on the team, making sure that they can harness that strength to the best of their abilities and get the plays that end up with the wins.
Now, Kai, your team relied on a bunch of absolute sluggers, Critter, Brown Critter, and Hammerbro, all turning up big in these playoffs with excellent backup batting from the jerseys. Do you think that you have pulled together what is possibly one of the best offensive teams possible in this league, or do you think that you'll be able to come back next season and not just equal it, but top it?
It certainly, I don't think you can categorically say it's the best because we lost. We lost 3 games in the regular season and we lost a handful of games in the playoffs. Not enough to lose the series overall, but there is weaknesses shown. And I think that, with enough analysis of the players on the team and what other options are available throughout the rest of the league, there's something that can be put together that can beat the rookies in a more succinct and powerful way.
All right, I'm going to give you one chance here. I want you to look at your squad. I want you to look at all the players that played throughout this series, and I want you to think deep. I want you to highlight 3 players that really were crucial for your team's victory in the season. They don't have to be the MVP sluggers. We've given Hammer Bro plenty of dues, but you can throw some more flowers on that pile. What are some highlight players that you really want to give a big congratulations to pulling off this championship run?
It's tough to pick, but I have to give it to Hammer Bro, number one MVP in my heart for the whole season. He's been an absolute slugger, a great fielder as well in his second base and in the final games here, a shortstop position. He's played very well. Can't really fault him too much for the blunders that I've criticized him about earlier in the season, but we'll let those go on and be in the past now. Shortly after Hammer Bro, I have to give the biggest congratulations to Cookie, one of the strongest pitchers I think this entire league has seen, pitching multiple games through to the start to the end, and just pitching in dominating fashion, as well as doing some pretty good work on the offensive side. And my third pick, it's got to be Green Critter. Does good work in the infield, does good work at the plate. It's hard to beat. You'll love to see him.
Well, Kai, as the sun sets on Season 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy, do you have any closing statements as your team and your management leads to the first big championship win?
I look forward to seeing what the teams can come up with next year, and best of luck to everybody in what will be an exciting Season 2.
Thank you for your time, Kai, and thank you for the kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute magnificent journey through Season 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy. We will, of course, be back at Season 2 at some point in the future. Not immediately, but soon enough, you'll see us come back. I'll make an announcement. Thank you, of course, to all of the teams and all the coaches. I would love to give a big, quick shout out to them. Thank you to my fellow coaches, Kai, Quacks, Softboy Hours, Silver Lily, Would Be Happy, Dark Star, and streamer mode is screwing me over here, whoops, and Jay-Z Dogs. Thank you everyone for joining me here. It has been an absolute blast to watch some Mario Baseball with you. And now I wish everyone a peaceful end to your Memorial Day and a fine evening. We will see you in Season 2. And until then, play ball. Good night, everybody.